Yeah, and it wasn't easy because yesterday morning the doctor sent me a message that a few players they felt no well, and with a stomach problem, vomiting, and also fever. Yeah. For this reason, yesterday in the training session, and Deki didn't have a training session. The same Gollini, also was Hugo in not a perfect condition today. Winksy, yeah. Despite this, and we faced the game in the right way, and I'm so happy because I have seen a team that has improved in many aspects. Now, this team is a team ready to fight in every game. I think it's not simple. It's not easy to play against us. To face Burnley today wasn't easy. I think they tested us, our nerves. Because for us was vital to get 3 points and to have an hope to take a place in Champions League or to stay until the end for this big achievement. Yeah, I'm very happy. I'm very happy because I repeat, and I saw a team that improved a lot step by step, and now. Yeah, I think deserve in the same way like Arsenal to go for a place in Champions League. But we'll see what happens at the end of the season. For us, another game against Norwich, and it won't be easy. Also, England no easy game, but I think was positive for the team, for the players, for the club, and to fight again for something important. With Hugo, yeah, but Hugo had a fever, and but it was strange that this type of situation, and Hugo and also Gollini, and but no chances to miss an important game for Hugo for Gollo, and. They show to be very professional and to understand very well the moment, the importance of the moment, and they played for sure not 100 in a physical condition at the top, but Hugo is our captain, and I think that never he wanted to miss this game. But my view on the penalty, I think 200% penalty, not 100%, because it was so clear and honestly, and it was very difficult to understand the complaint. If the hand, your arm is in this way, and you take the ball, and I think it was very very clear, honestly, yeah, and yeah. Yeah, but I think first of all, and we had to do our task and to win, to get 3 points, and also to put a bit of pressure to Arsenal tomorrow. We know very well that it's not easy, it's not simple to play against Newcastle, and especially when arrived the new manager, and they're having a good spell, and yeah, not an easy game, but it'll be the same for us in Norwich, and the last game against Everton for Arsenal. Yeah, for sure. I'll watch the game. I'll watch the game because I love football, and I want to watch. I want also to suffer on TV. Yeah, but I think it's a big achievement also to arrive at the last game and to have this possibility to take a place in Champions League, especially because I don't forget the path, our path, since November, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. For sure, also Arsenal. I think they did a really good job this season because in this season they didn't play in UEFA, and now they are having the possibility to take a place in Champions League.
How much today, Antonio, was it about just digging in? Because you had the short turnaround from the Arsenal game. A few players looked a bit tired. Was it just one of those games where you've just got to somehow grind out a result?
Yeah, but I don't forget that we played 2 days ago and in a tough game against Arsenal. And don't forget that before Arsenal we played in Anfield and against Liverpool. And you know very well that this type of game you spend a lot of energy, not only under physical aspect but also mentally aspect. And today it was important for us to get 3 points, but I think that we created the chances to score more goals, and sometimes was the keeper good and to make a good saves. Sometimes I think that we could be more clinical in this situation, but at the end of the season to play against Burnley and against a team that is fighting for to avoid to relegate is not simple, and they come here to play a defensive game, a well-organized defensive game, and don't concede space for us. And I repeat, it wasn't easy. Only after to get 3 points you are relaxed. We didn't concede a goal for another time, another clean sheet, and the team strong. The team was strong and seems strong. Now in this moment it's not easy to play against us.
Last one at the back, please. Yep.
You spoke after the Arsenal game and that incredible atmosphere about the need to recreate the atmosphere for the fans to lift the team. How impressed were you with the fans today, and how much did they help your team get over the line at the end?
Yeah, I think for Tottenham and the fans are vital because you have an amazing stadium, and to create in every game an amazing atmosphere is very important. Very important because the fans, if you feel your fans, if the fans stay back to you in a strong way, and for sure if you it's normal to give much more, and also to overcome your real possibility. And I think our fans has to play in every game an important role, and the stadium has to become a fortress for Tottenham, I think, because it is amazing and has the characteristic to become a fortress for Tottenham.
Cool. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV back here for another, well, I say morning show. It's about afternoon now.
Late morning.
Yeah, late morning. Simeon is not here with us today, but we've got Rez filling in. Rez, thank you so much for coming in once again.
Absolute pleasure.
To have you, man.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
And, you know, on the back of a 1-0 win yesterday against Burnley in the Premier League, the last home game of the season, there was a really nice vibe around the stadium yesterday. Obviously, the post-match, well, post-season or post-last home game of the season party at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium was good fun. But in the stadium, I mean, from the start, there was a good atmosphere around. And obviously, it wasn't the same as the North London derby, but there was flags everywhere and people were trying. You could see definitely a concerted effort to keep that atmosphere up and to support the team right till the end yesterday, which I thought was a really important thing. You saw players come out after the game and mentioning that the last two games of the season, home game of the season, have been really good in terms of atmosphere. And the way the game went, I thought that the players fed off that atmosphere in the first 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. I thought we looked really good. We looked sharp. We looked aggressive. We looked strong and fast. But once Burnley carried on to frustrate us, we found it really hard to break them down, And for that kind of early pressure we put on them, we didn't really break them down. And it was a very frustrating day, wasn't it, yesterday at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium?
Yeah, sort of watching it, it's sort of like we had this sort of will to go out and get them. I mean, we were, including myself, lots of us were sort of confidently expecting a battering of Burnley, which didn't transpire. But what I'll say, sort of reflecting on it, when you get a team like Burnley, they will do that to everyone of quality. They'll do that to Liverpool, they'll do that to Man City and Chelsea and that lot, because they recognise, I think, that when it comes to going toe-to-toe with players of the quality that we have, I mean, we've got two undeniably world-class players in Son and Kane. I mean, what else is a team like Burnley going to do, especially with their sort of slightly threadbare defence as well, with, you know, the likes of Tarkowski out. So I would... in a way, there is a positive to draw from that, to sort of be flattered almost that they are that frightened of us that they have to set up that way, because they wouldn't set up that way against, say, Norwich. You know, they'd go all out to win the game. It's a defensive action when it comes up against Spurs, and we still did it. We still got the job done. And there will be times where we're going to be going up against teams like that are just determined to put up a wall and hope that everything bounces off. So I'm still happy. We got the outcome. Wasn't the prettiest game of football, but I did see, I saw commitment. I saw energy, especially at the sharp end of the season. I mean, one game to go, everyone looked leggy. Yeah. And it's to be expected, especially with the thinness of squad that we've got to deal with.
Yeah, and especially with the North London derby only being 48 hours prior to that. And, you know, the players expended a lot of energy in that game. The fans expended a lot of energy in that game as well.
Yeah, that's true.
And, you know, when you're looking at the game as a whole yesterday, I was getting quite worried in the latter stages of that first half, because as much as we played quite well in the first 15, 20 minutes, we looked very leggy after that 15, 20 minutes. And I was unsure if we were actually able to break Burnley down with the kind of tiredness of the team that was on show. The penalty comes obviously in like the last kick of the 4th minute of stoppage time.
Yep.
First of all, there's been a lot of kind of talk over social media, mainly about Arsenal fans, let's be honest, about if it was a penalty, if it was a lucky penalty. I mean, what was your opinion on the penalty?
It was a penalty, ultimately. I mean, we can break down every sort of refereeing decision as much as we like, and it will always have an element of subjectivity to it. I mean, Arsenal fans are going to be begrudging in them sort of acknowledging any decision as being correct when it disadvantages them, because, you know, a Spurs win yesterday puts us 2 points ahead of them. So if there's any sort of margin for error, they're going to try and magnify that as much as possible, and we do the same to them, I think. As far as I'm concerned, within the letter of the law, it was a penalty. Whether or not the referee awards it is down to the level of officiating. I've spoken about how I don't think that the officials in this country are particularly good. But that one is not one that I would put down to bad refereeing. Let's put it that way. It's a subjective choice, even down to the level of the ref, and we got it on this occasion. So no complaints for me. And I honestly wouldn't really make a big deal out of it if it had gone, say, if Arsenal were playing and they'd been awarded the handball or the penalty for the handball. It's one of those things.
I mean, it's a bit rich from Arsenal fans to complain.
Yeah.
Because like they've got much weaker penalties over the past couple of weeks against Manchester United,
Big time.
against Chelsea. You know, Saka pulls down Azpilicueta in the box, and somehow Arsenal get
the penalty. Yeah.
It's absolutely ridiculous. But I think, you know, when they were tucking into their Sunday roast and their Sunday lunch on, you know, for the 12th kickoff, turning on the game, thinking, you know, maybe it's a potential upset here, they might have just put a bit too much salt on their Sunday roast, I think.
Just a little bit. Arsenal salt, as I said today, I think Arsenal salt is something that we can jar and sell because there's a lot of it around.
Absolutely.
It's I can see why they're getting so upset, but at the same time, it's like, this is football. Get over it. You know, we've finished above you, I think 5 years in a row, something like that. You know, this could be the 6th. Your club right now is not in a position that it was under Wenger, and trying to replicate or trying to sort of emulate those glory days and expect yourselves to be the same as you were then is unrealistic. You know.
But, you know, back on the game, first half, as much as I said, you know, we struggled to break them down, it was close to near total domination in that first half. Burnley hardly got into our areas of the pitch. I mean, we had them penned in. We just couldn't break them down. The way they were set up, really well, credit to them. Second half comes, it's a bit of a different game. Obviously, the penalty changed that, because I think if that penalty doesn't go in, Burnley set up the same way as they do in the first half, try and frustrate us. But they had a bit of adventure in that second half, and they did trouble us a little bit. But at the end of the day, we troubled their keeper a lot more. Pope made 2 unbelievable saves in the game. I thought we were deserved winners by the end of it, but I do think if that penalty doesn't come, I'm not sure if we win that game.
Yeah, Pope pulled their backsides out of the fire a couple of times, at least, you know, with 2 really, really good saves, and kept them in the game in that second half. I think that 5-man defence, I'm guessing that it's the sort of holdover from Sean Dyche's era. They understand what it means to set up an organised, tight, structured defence. And if it hadn't been for the penalty, yeah, I agree. I think they probably would have come out. They were playing for the draw. They were playing for the draw, and if the opportunity came along, obviously snatching a win, a smash and grab. But had they walked away with a point, they would have been over the moon. In the same way that, you know, when we were talking before the Liverpool game, we were saying, you know, a draw at Anfield would be good. For them, it's a draw at White Hart Lane would be good, because we've hurt them badly in previous seasons as well, and they're fighting relegation now. Every point counts. Pope saved them, but you know what? Even before that, I still saw more of a threat than, let's say, we sort of demonstrated against Brighton or against Brentford.
Agree, yeah.
So I think there's been some progress made. Give Conte a pre-season. I think he'll be able to work more on the sort of tactic side when you're coming up against a low block team like that, and I think we'll be more effective next season once we've had an opportunity to actually analyse how to go about taking a team like that apart.
Yeah, completely agree. The Sky Sports pundits were talking during the game and after the game, and they were saying that they didn't think Spurs deserved to win. They were very lucky to get through that with 3 points. And I thought it was actually mental, them saying that, because, like I said, first half was near to total domination. Second half, Pope made those brilliant saves. Yes, Burnley troubled us more in that second half, but I still think we were the better team and we had the better chances. I mean, what were they on about?
There's no way that you can turn around and say that Spurs didn't deserve to win that yesterday. When you give the goalkeeper the Man of the Match award, that tells you everything that you need to know. Excuse me. The fact that Pope pulled off 2 really good saves. One was that short range one from Son. I think he got down magnificently to sort of parry that away. Okay, yeah, they hit the post, but that happens in a game. You know, if, say, for instance, we'd hit the post 2 or 3 times, you wouldn't turn around and say, oh, Spurs were lucky not to win. It's part of the game. A goal is a goal, points are points, a win is a win. There have been times where a team has played badly and won. That does happen. But yesterday, with the possession we had, the fact that Burnley had set themselves up for a draw and we still managed to get the win against that kind of all-out defensive display, you've got to give credit where it's due. And I can't fathom why Sky are saying that, if I'm being honest. Maybe it's just Arsenal bias.
Yeah, clearly. In terms of individuals yesterday, who was your kind of standout performer on the Spurs team yesterday?
It's a hard one. Højbjerg played well. Bentancur played well. I hate to say it, Emerson played well and actually played. Yeah, we should love to say it, yeah. He actually played well.
Yeah.
It wasn't just
That's 3-4
competent.
games in a row now.
Yeah, it is. It wasn't just sort of baseline. He did more than you would expect as a baseline, which was good to see. He's
just before you move on from Emerson in a second, I was doing after the game yesterday, I was going around and asking people, just random people, a few questions. Like two of the questions were most improved player and worst player of the season.
Yeah.
Emerson was
Came up in both
categories quite a lot.
Absolutely, yeah. He's not yet for me done enough yet to warrant his remaining at Spurs. 3 games out of 38, or say 37, plus however many cup games he's played, is still not evidence enough. In the same way that with Doherty, it's not evidence enough. The only reason that I would say pick Doherty over Emerson to remain, if someone said you can keep only one of them, would be, well, Doherty is a wing back, and so I would value the experience that he has more than the ceiling that Emerson may have. But if he continues to do this, why not? I'm not going to, pin my colours to the Emerson out mast, because if Emerson plays well, that's good for my club, and that's the most important thing. Let's see if he does the same against Norwich, because he's going to be in the lineup. And if that happens, it will then be down to Conte to make the call anyway, ultimately as to who remains. So it's not down to me, it's not down to any of us, it's down to him. If Conte wants to keep him, Conte thinks that he can turn him into a wing back, I'm not going to argue.
Yeah, me as well. And I completely agree. I thought Emerson had a really strong game yesterday, but it's not just the way he was defending and the way he was going forward, but the way he was coming into the midfield, creating an extra option, which we haven't seen that much of him do that recently. And I think he keeps adding different facets to his game, game on game now. And I think actually the end of the season is coming a bit too soon for him.
I think so. Although I think the end of the season is also coming at a good time, because he needs to learn how to cross. His crossing is still ridiculously weak, and he could be the best right wing back in every other aspect, but if you don't have crossing ability, you are not useful in a Conte system. So this is again, it comes back to what's going to happen in the summer. Is Conte going to look at him and say, I can teach this guy to cross and turn him into a decent right wing back? Or is he going to say, well, he doesn't have the skill set that I need, there are other players out there that I can get, and so Emerson will be, I would imagine, probably loaned out this summer rather than sold. Loaned out next season rather than sold, and then eventually his Tottenham career may end, or he may learn how to cross at a different club. So yeah, I think the jury's out on Emerson now. It's not as clear cut as it was, say, 3 weeks ago. We're gonna have to wait and see, I think.
Yeah, I can agree with that. El Said in the comments says, Rez the Great. You got a fan base growing for you.
Stop it, my head's big enough already.
Fan base growing for you.
Do you know how hard it was to buy this hat? Because they didn't do it in this size,
A couple others players that I want to talk about. First of all, Davinson Sanchez, because obviously he came in very late before the Arsenal game as a late inclusion. Backed up with a game against Burnley yesterday, and I think that he really has stood up to the challenge to come in straight away. He hasn't played a lot of football in recent months, next to nothing, And he's come in and he's slotted in straight away on that right-hand side, and he's doing a job for us. I thought he was imperious yesterday. I don't think anything got by him. I thought defensively he was spot on, and he was relieving the ball well and relieving us of pressure really well yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. The only, and I'm not saying this because I want to highlight the negative. I thought he really was, as you say, imperious. He was very, very good. The only weak part of his game was a couple of times where he tried to sort of do the vertical balls and didn't quite make it. But let's put it that way, Burnley was so compact that it's really difficult to find space to pass into anyway. So I wouldn't berate him for attempting it, because it's nice to see. Yeah, he hasn't played for 2.5 months before playing against Arsenal. To come in and to put in the performance that he did against Arsenal and against Burnley was testament to his sort of resilience, I think. I think Conte calls him patron, which means boss, so which is what the players call him. I would love it if Sanchez could become a top defender as well.
He's got all the tools.
He's got all the tools. I think the only question mark has been over composure, in terms of just sometimes the brain fart coming in, which you can probably train out of a player, teach them a bit of focus, a bit of concentration. I think Conte himself has also said that about him, said that if his concentration can be improved, he may have a future at Spurs. Who knows? Who knows? So it was nice to see. It was very nice to see, and it was encouraging that we were worried when Romero went out, because it's like, well, who do we bring in his place? And it's like Davinson Sanchez.
Yeah. Absolutely. And the last player I want to talk about is Ryan Sessegnon. I mean, at the end of the game yesterday inside the stadium, I gave Emerson Royal my man the match for Spurs. But on reflection, I think Ryan Sessegnon probably has to get it. I think that I had a few issues with his performance, I'm not going to lie, but I think that on a whole, I think he looks a lot more confident. He's attacking the space a lot more. He's defending really well. He looks like a completely different physical specimen as he was maybe this time last year or earlier on in the season under Nuno. I still think that he's not taking on his fullback enough as maybe he can. But I think when he does get into that space, he has the quality. And on another day, he could have had 2 or 3 assists yesterday.
Yeah, I agree. The one thing that a couple of people have said to me is that he's looked a bit tentative, almost like he's worried about injuring himself, which you can understand. Yeah. And I've seen, obviously it's a subjective analysis, but I've seen evidence of that, or what I've thought is evidence of that in the last few games, and against Burnley as well, but not as much against Burnley as, say, against Arsenal, and not as much against Arsenal as, let's say, against Liverpool. It's seemingly he's getting more confident in his body, I think. I hope. Because he's another one who's got the tools. He's got pace, he's got aggression, he can pass. Obviously, he's not the best at any of those yet, but he's still very, very young. So, again, could be a gem that Conte polishes into an actual diamond of a player. We have to wait and see. But whatever happens, we need effective wing backs for Conte. That is undeniable. Yeah. If Sessegnon can be one of them, if Emerson can be one of them, that's all to the good. But we still need more.
Agreed. Absolutely agree. So, yeah, I mean, I personally would give Sessegnon the man of the match yesterday. Who would you give it to?
I would probably go with Sessegnon as well, if I'm being honest, or maybe Sanchez. It's really difficult to pick a Spurs man of the match because everyone played well, but nobody stood out as amazingly good. It was, and that's not to take away from their performance. It was a good performance, but it was, I would say, give the man of the match to the whole team, because as a unit, everyone played well. Everyone played to each other's strengths. There seemed to be a lot of cohesion there. That is one of the things that we've needed to build. So if I had to pick one player, I mean, you've picked Cess, so let's go with someone else. So we sort of spread the love a little bit. Let's go with Sanchez.
Patron.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so that is our match review of the game yesterday. 1-0 against Burnley. One game left to go this season. Norwich away this weekend. But obviously there's a big game tonight in Newcastle against Arsenal. So we're all Newcastle fans tonight, eh?
Absolutely.
Away the lads, away the lads. Looking forward to it tonight.
It's going to be reet nice.
What do you reckon about tonight?
I reckon that Newcastle need to ship in about 400 tons of vinegar for all the salt that's going to be arriving. No, I think, look, Newcastle, although there's two things at play here. Newcastle haven't beaten Arsenal. I've only beaten Arsenal 4 times in the last 18 years or something like that.
Really?
That's the stat that I saw. It might not be accurate. It was just a passing thing that I saw. Let's assume it's true. On the flip side, Newcastle have only lost to Liverpool since Eddie Howe at home since Eddie Howe took over.
Lost Man City as well, right at the beginning. But
okay.
That was right at the beginning.
Was he in post at that point?
there.
He was at post. Okay, so let's say 2. But let's face it, Man City and Liverpool.
Yeah.
You know, everyone loses to them except for that would be Tottenham.
Yeah. The only North London team, right?
Exactly right.
North London original.
Absolutely. So I think Arsenal have got a lot of things going against them tonight. They've got the fact that Newcastle, it's their last home game. They're going to want to, their fans will want their players to put on a show. Arsenal are depleted. Arsenal are psychologically damaged after what happened to them on Thursday. There's absolutely no denying, because if you consider the amount of salt that their fans are throwing about, that dressing room is not going to be happy, which can work to their advantage, but I don't think it will. They're a bit young. They're a bit inexperienced. I think Newcastle will at least take a point off them.
I agree.
And there was something else that you mentioned as well about Newcastle.
I mean, we're going to mention it on Twitter Reacts, but we can quickly go over it now. It's Mike McGrath tweeted 3 hours ago saying Newcastle United have been incentivized to perform in the last 2 games of the season, which could really play into the hands of Tottenham and Leeds United. A 6-figure reward for a high finish. Bonuses dependent on every place above 17th, and top 10 seen as a massive jump for Newcastle. So the hierarchy of Newcastle are incentivizing Newcastle for every place they finish. So not only is there going to be a big tifo in the stadium, the fans are going to be bang up for it. Trippier has gone on record and says he wants to do it for Tottenham. And now the Newcastle hierarchy are incentivizing the players to finish as high as they can.
Exactly. So, you put that alongside Mikel Arteta's olive tree, because apparently he's planted an olive tree outside his office at the Arsenal training ground, because that will get you results, won't it, Mikel? I think that Newcastle certainly have the capacity to take a point off Arsenal, and they could win. Newcastle are not playing badly. Eddie Howe has got some nous about him. This is not. We've got to get past the idea, if it still exists, that Newcastle are relegation candidates. They're really not. Steve Bruce was dragging them down. It's unfortunate to say. He wasn't getting a performance out of those players. They're better than where they were when Eddie Howe took over, which he's shown, and he's brought them back up. They're a mid-table side, and that's not an attractive prospect. Arsenal would have to bring so much to bear on that, and it's like, where are they going to get the resources from? With Holding out, for instance, with question marks over Gabriel, these are and Ben White. These are questions that need answering. Lacks a threat. This idea that Arsenal, because they're Arsenal, will beat.
Not just lack of threat at the moment, lack of playing time.
Lack of playing time, yeah, and lack of contract soon as well. This idea that Arsenal are going to batter Newcastle, please. It's going to be a hard-fought game. If Arsenal come away with points, it'll either be 1 or it'll be a lucky 3 points, I think.
Yeah, I completely agree. What do you think it does? What do you think has happened to the Arsenal confidence? Because they went on a good run, just about getting over games, and they come to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Surely their confidence got to be smashed to pieces after what Holding does, the way we completely took them apart. Without really getting out of third gear, you've got to be honest. I mean, that was the easiest North London derby I've ever had to sit through. Not only that, but then Tottenham going back up 48 hours later against Burnley. Okay, not a vintage display, but you get the 3 points. So going into the Newcastle game being 2 points clear, what do you think that does for Arsenal confidence?
It's going to hurt. If I was them, I would be hurt. And the key here is that Arsenal are brittle. You know, you can take something that's brittle and you can sort of press it a certain way and it won't break. But then if you exert pressure in the right way, it will snap. That's what we showed on Thursday. That's what the likes of Leeds didn't show. They didn't understand the psychology of it. We've got a master in the sort of mind game stakes with Conte, and he went about it the right way and showed the world that Arsenal are brittle. You put them under pressure in the right places. Don't give them opportunities to come at you. Go at them, you know, push them around the park, kick them about the park a little bit, put pressure on them make mistakes, and they will. And so that's the key question. Will Eddie Howe have the footballing knowledge, which I think he has, to go at Arsenal in the right way? They do that. Arsenal's psychology will do the rest.
Completely agree. All right, so just a bit of extra for the match review, as we have to preview that Arsenal game tonight. We just had to. But let's move on and let's see how Twitter... Actually, just before we do that, we had a super chat in there from Big Bob Spur TV. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. Bob Spur TV, big up Bobby. And he says... Is it just me who thought we looked comfortable winning the game in third gear? The occasion made us look at the game differently. And hey to the flat cap knob jock.
Yes, yes, that's
Knob job.
that's a special what's it called? Term of affection that Bob employs. Piss off, Bob.
We've got a new member here, the Perch. The Perchy.
Nice.
Big up, Perchy.
Nice.
I know he's just moved to Spain, I think it is.
Lovely.
You around the lane, that's for sure. But let's get into Twitter reacts and let's see how Twitter, or not the match review, but let's get into
We
Twitter
did
reacts.
that. I would say that, Bob, I mean, I didn't feel frightened during that game. I wasn't all that worried. A little bit tense until once the penalty was in. Once the penalty was in, it was like, yeah, I think we'll be all right.
All right, well, let's go and see how Twitter did react to the game yesterday. So what we got?
So first up, we have LA Ian before the match saying he made it.
Yeah.
Telling Brian.
Big up LA Ian. We met him before the game yesterday. Obviously, he's been on quite a lot of fan shows in the past, and he got to his first time in the new stadium, and he was in awe of the place yesterday. I bumped into him with Stel, and he was absolutely loving life. He gave us a little Los Angeles Spurs t-shirt as well, which I absolutely loved. So thank you very much for that. And yeah, it was great to see him. It really was.
Yeah, we got to speak to him after Liverpool, and he's a good lad. He's a good lad. Brian was in his unwashed t-shirt, yeah, showing it off.
I wonder if he got any more stains on it this weekend.
Apparently chicken wings. We spoke to him after the match, and he's trying to work out whether or not he needs to wash it before next season.
Can't watch it.
Yeah,
he can't wash it.
Yeah.
That shirt has got to go unwashed until we lose in it.
Until we lose in it, absolutely. I think by the time next season kicks off, it would have developed into a new life form. But
there's going to be stuff just growing up.
Yeah, exactly. A whole new biome. And then, obviously, Spurs official, celebrating the full-time win, 1-0.
Brilliant.
Yeah. This is an interesting one from Lily White Rose. We've conceded just 5 goals in our last 10 Premier League games.
I was actually looking at the form, just where it goes WL, but whatever it is, what it used to be, WL.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, the form over the past 10 games is actually unbelievable. Obviously, we lost to Brighton and we drew to Brentford. But apart from that, we won every other game. Yep. Unbelievable. Oh, well, Liverpool, obviously, but, Yeah,
but I mean, it's one thing. This is the thing. We keep coming back to it. It's almost like we're living rent-free in their heads when we're not. They're living rent-free in our heads. It's not that. It's just it illustrates the point. Arsenal going on and on and on about, oh, yeah, look at what Arteta's done. Look at what Arteta's done. It's like Conte has won more points since he's been at Spurs than any other club apart from Man City and Liverpool. And likewise, Spurs have scored more goals in the league than any other club apart from Man City and Liverpool since Conte took over. So, put that up against it, and you see why Arsenal getting top 4 would be an overachievement, whereas Spurs getting top 4, you could argue, is actually at the level that Conte has got them to.
I like the way the mentality maybe of the two fan bases, where Arsenal are kind of being like over the top every time they get a few results and blah, blah, blah. But on the flip side of that, when they don't get a result, it's like they come crashing down to earth, they go into hiding and stuff like that. Spurs, I feel like the fan base, I mean, we've been on a really good run and no one's really talking about it. Not even our fans are talking about it. It feels like we're just quietly going under the radar, just doing our thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like that. I like that because it sort of takes one element of pressure off us, because that always happens. You know, with the sort of 2 seasons where we were challenging for the league, it was like the pressure wouldn't have helped, or the outside pressure, the outside scrutiny wouldn't have helped. And this is it's still the pre-Conte era for me. Anything that happens this season is, if it's good, it will be a bonus, and if it's bad, it's part of the transition period. So not an issue for me.
I completely agree with your point on the pre-Conte era, because on Thursday night after the game, I said that was the rebirth of the new stadium.
Yeah.
That was the real kind of opening, the grand opening of that stadium. And obviously the stadium had been open for 2 years prior to that. But I feel the grand opening of this Conte area will be pre-season this year.
I think so, absolutely. And that atmosphere, that opening of the stadium on Thursday, I think should be a sea change in our approach as fans when we're in the stadium. What we saw, what you talked about at the beginning with the atmosphere against Burnley, you know, the atmosphere being good, we need to try and emulate that as much as possible. It won't always bring about a good result. It won't always bring about a win. It won't always bring about good play, but we've got to do this more. We've got to be a little more
But the thing is,
willing.
it increases our chances.
Of course it does, yeah. It's just defending against hurt when we don't do it. I can understand it, and it's perfectly understandable. You know, I've done it myself. We've all done it. But I think we need to start being just a little smidge delusional about ourselves and back our team, even in the face of actual evidence, I think.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like, what is actually delusional about what you're saying? Because if we can go to Man City and we can go to Liverpool, and even if when they come to our house and get results against them, why can't we get results against anyone?
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's
right.
delusion?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's putting aside the doubts in that case, I would say. Doubts will always be there. And this is football. Anything can happen. So it's just, invest a little more now. I know it's hard given what's happened to Spurs in the past. Investing always seems to bring about hurt. For me, I'm happy to invest, even if it hurts later. I'll deal with the hurt if it hurts.
Agreed. I'm with you. I'm with you. What's up next?
So, Ryan Sessegnon against Burnley, your man of the match. I don't know if I can play the video. Can I play the video on there? Will it work?
What is it?
It's a little video here. Let me try and play it and see if it comes up. If we're allowed to. Are we allowed to play it?
Probably not.
Okay, so I
play
won't
a few
then.
seconds of it.
Okay.
Oh, it's just his individual highlights.
Yeah, it's just his highlights, but it's someone's copyright, so we'll move on. A lovely picture there of two best mates. Must be.
Sonny and Kane.
Sonny and Kane.
What I was loving yesterday about the lap of honor, or when the players were thanking the fans and everything, like Sonny was just going up and playing with all the different players.
Yeah.
It was just so funny. I mean, there was one moment where Sanchez just came up to Sonny, was just like, here, just take him.
Yeah, I think that's what every parent does. It's like, free babysitter. Yep, have it.
Here you go, Sonny.
Kane has lost an incredible amount of weight under Conte, allegedly. He does look very svelte, doesn't he?
I was actually saying this to Sim and Ashley on the way home yesterday, and Danny on the way home yesterday. I said to them, Kane right now looks at his peak physical condition. He really does, and he looks like a different animal physically to what he has been last season, the year before, like ever, in my opinion.
Am I right in thinking that he's gone completely injury-free this season?
Yeah, I think he has. I think you're right.
Which is unusual. He's always had an injury at some point, hasn't he?
Last season, he got an injury, but only kept him out for one game.
Yes,
So
that's
it was
right.
already getting better last season.
Yeah.
But this year, injury-free.
Injury-free. Amazing stuff. Next up is another video. Obviously, we can't show that. Antonio Conte on his Instagram, thanking the fans for the amazing support. This guy is... I'm in love with him.
Yeah.
You know,
How can you not be?
How can you not
How
be?
can you not be? And I mean, I don't know if you saw it yesterday, but they were showing, like highlights of the season on the big screen, and Conte was just standing there like this, and his expressions while he was watching. He was just so proud of his team, I
bet.
loved it because, like, for a manager like that to be proud of his team, for what he's done in the game, is absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, this guy is a maestro. This guy's we know this. It's not even a revelation to say this. There's no insight here. Nobody can deny that he is one of the best managers in the world at the moment. We're lucky to have him. We're so fortunate to have him, and we have got to capitalize on the fact that he's here, because he can take us places. He can take us places, and it's wonderful to have him.
It really is. It really is. And, if he is here, I mean, the way he's talking, it does seem like he wants to be here. It does seem like him and the club, I hope, touch wood, are on the same page now. And it does, the way he's talking does seem like he is going to be here for the foreseeable.
I hope so. It has to be like that. It has to be like that. You don't, if someone gives you a Ferrari, you don't get back in your Fiat Punto. You get in the Ferrari, you learn to drive it, and you look after it. That is what Conte is. He is the Ferrari of football managers.
Exactly. You don't put that shitty unleaded in. You
exactly.
Put you put unleaded
exactly. High octane fuel is what he needs, because he will perform if you provide that. There's nothing to say about Conte that hasn't already been said. He's a winner. He's a football manager of par excellence. That's it.
Absolutely. All right. What we got?
Another one of Ian. It looks exactly the same, but this is the post-match photo. So it looks to me like
he's got a bigger smile on his face.
No, it's exactly the same size. And the weird thing is, all the people who are in the pre-match thing are still in their seats. So I don't know how you've engineered that one, Ian.
Big up, LA. Ian.
Obviously had a great time. Amazingly, Eric Dier thanking the fans for the atmosphere.
Let's talk about Eric Dier.
Let's talk about Eric Dier, yeah.
Because he's had a brilliant season. Hasn't had a call up for England as of this season. What does he have to do to get this call up? Because in my opinion, he should have been called up in the last two squads.
Yeah, I think so. I think when Eric Dier first ended up in the England squad, though, wasn't he picked as a central midfielder? Because that's where he was playing for Spurs as a defensive midfielder. Am I right in that, or have I got that wrong?
Yeah, you could be right. I think you're right, because when he played in the last World Cup, did he play in a back three, or did he play in the midfield? I can't really remember. If anyone in the comments can
let us know
where Eric Dier did play in that World Cup, but he didn't play in the Euros. He didn't get called up for the Euros, quite rightly so. But ever since his emergence this season, and even some stage at last season, he was having a good season, but it kind of fell off for him.
Yeah.
But this season, in my opinion, he really deserves it. People are saying CDM.
Who was CDM?
CDM in the World Cup. So,
I think it's Southgate has this sort of tendency to be conservative at certain points when it comes to his selection, or not trying to tweak too much. I think, but I think it's undeniable that Eric Dier, no matter what some might think of him, has certainly been better than Maguire this season.
And Tyrone Mings. So, if Southgate is accurate about he will pick players on form, then at the very least, don't pick Maguire and Mings, pick Dier. Not only that, he's had more game time than John Stones this season. I mean, I know Ben White's had a good season, but it's arguable who's better between the two. It's not exactly a clear-cut conversation.
Absolutely.
So I think when you're looking at English centre-backs in terms of current form across the whole season, I think Eric Dier has been at least in the top two or top three.
I would think so. I would absolutely think so. And it's difficult to understand why he's not being picked on the evidence of this season. Look, if we want to talk about Dier as a defender, over the sort of last 2 years, then he's had one mediocre season and one decent season. That is not really a consideration for the England manager, though. You look at who is playing well right now. let's also be aware that we don't want to preempt. We never know. Southgate might pick him for his World Cup squad. We don't know. I think given the form that he's shown this season, he's been an ever-present, as far as if I'm remembering correctly, has not made as many of those ridiculous. He's got one small thing that he keeps doing, though, which he's got to work out of his game, and that's turning his back. That has to stop. And I'm hoping that someone in Conte's coaching staff will sit him down in the summer if he's going to be staying and say, right, we're going to get that out of your game. If he does that, I think he can actually become a really effective defender. Not Romero level, because Romero is something else. But certainly good enough to be a central mid, defender for Spurs, maybe as a backup, maybe as a first choice, and certainly for England.
Absolutely, completely agree. Couldn't agree more.
Up next, there's a little chart here from the Extra Inch. Okay, I'm just trying to see it. My failing eyesight is not helping me here. Bear with me. Team rating: we are 4th.
Oh, this is
this is from
right up Sim Street. This kind of stuff. Let me see if I can find it.
It's from that website, the one with the numbers in it. I've forgotten the name of the website.
What they're saying is, I think the key point to take here is the percentages
of
where they think each club are going to finish.
Mm-hmm.
They've given Spurs a 60% chance now of finishing in the top 4.
Right.
Which is absolutely massive.
Yeah, I think so.
Compared to when Arsenal got an extra game to us.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, the top 2 we know are set. That can't be changed. Chelsea,
Arsenal 41% to finish in the UCL.
Yeah, I don't think they will. It's not, and even that is not me thinking delusionally. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
They're still young. Who knows? Maybe in a couple of seasons they might have enough about them to challenge for it. Right now, they don't.
Yeah, but the thing is, if they do somehow get over the line tonight, those percentages dramatically change.
Of course, and at this stage of the season, it's to be expected. I mean, Nick said it. Nick, Barry, Sean, Ranjit, Dave, whatever his name is today. He said that there's going to be twists and turns. Have we seen them all? We don't know. Maybe there might be more. The twist was going to Liverpool and getting the result, and then beating them a thing which people might not have expected. There's the season's not over.
The twist has not been complete yet until they drop points tonight, though.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
So
yeah,
that's that.
Agreed. More video of the after show party. This one made me laugh.
And his kid.
Yeah, this one made me laugh. I'm sort of scrolled past the video, so it's at the bottom of the screen, guys. I apologise. Arsenal fans unironically think there's some big plan from the FA to regularly give decisions against them. FFS. Yeah. We know. We've heard it so much.
But when they get the lucky penalties and the lucky decisions, and they get defences just passing the ball to Nketiah, and Nketiah getting completely so lucky in every goal he scores this season, pretty much barring that second goal against Leeds. Nothing gets said. Nothing gets said.
That's the FA operating at full, functionality for Arsenal fans, I think. Another chart here about Christian Eriksen. These are his player ratings against thing. Yeah,
I thought he was brilliant.
Yep. I saw bits of that Brentford game against Everton, and he did make them tick.
Yeah.
It was all sort of being orchestrated almost by him. They've got some great players. They really do, and you can see the hunger and the energy that they have. Obviously, they had the advantage with the red card. Not the second one. The second one didn't provide much of an advantage because it was so late. But yeah, Brentford are good, and Eriksen, I think, has slotted in well there. He has slotted in well there.
I would absolutely love him at Spurs. And if you go to the next one, there's a nice quote from him as well.
Yeah.
Which says, I have different offers and options which we are considering, and then I need to make a decision. I would love to play Champions League football again. I know how much fun it is, but it isn't essential for me. What do you think he means by that? I mean, he obviously wants to play Champions League, but it's not essential. I mean, does that mean he's coming to Spurs? Because
this is it, because they're definitely in the UCL. It could be taken that way. It may well be taken that way, or it might just be a case of a man who is with a close brush with death, being more reflective on his current status. It could also be saying, look, if Brentford want me, I don't need the Champions League. I might be happy to stay at Brentford. It's a very well-crafted statement because you can draw your own conclusion from it without him actually giving anything away. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll see what his future holds.
Taking your Spurs hat off for a second regarding Christian Eriksen, I know it's hard, but he left in the way he left. The fans didn't exactly treat him well for the last year he was at Spurs. I don't think he downed tools on purpose, but I think that psychologically, when you want to go, it's hard to put your all into a club, right?
Absolutely.
We've seen it many a times with many different players over many different clubs. He left the way he did. He went to Inter Milan, didn't click for him at start. He got into the team, won a league with Antonio Conte. What happened to him at the Euros happened to him. Obviously, it's got to be a major life-changing moment with many reflections happening. He comes back to football where he didn't think he was going to come again. He didn't think he was going to step foot in a pitch, never mind in the Premier League. He goes to Brentford. They show him all the love. They gave him that chance where no one else would. Where do you think his head is at now in terms of what he wants to do with his career?
I reckon he's going to... This is all speculation as well. I reckon he will probably not be looking beyond the end of this season because a footballer's family will always be involved in the discussions around their career. And we all saw the effect of what happened to him in the Euros on his wife because it was being shown quite brazenly by the broadcasters. She was in bits. And I think that any discussion...
Disgrace, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think any discussion about what he does next will involve her. And I don't think now would be a time for that kind of family discussion. I mean, let's just put ourselves in any professional situation. You've got a big decision coming on, but you've got short-term work to do first. What do? Do you do your short-term work first, and then when you've got a pause, sit down and discuss it with your family? Or do you discuss it with your family while you've still got short-term work to do with it, which could be a distraction? I think that, as he says, he's got options and offers. So I think he's going to get to the end of the season with Brentford. One more game to go. Then he will sit down, like most footballers will, and discuss it with his family and say, well, what do you guys think I should do? Then he will also talk to his representatives and his agents and his managers and stuff like that and say, well, what do you think? Or what do you want from me? All of these things. For someone who's been through what he's been through, it was like with Fabrice Muamba. He didn't just sort of say, that's it, I'm not playing football again. He would have discussed it with, medical experts, with his family, with those around him before making that decision. Eriksen has been more fortunate because he's managed to return to the game. But I think a more in-depth discussion will be needed, and that will have to wait until after the season, I think.
All right. What is up next?
And up next, I don't know what Paul Coyte saying on that one.
I'll tell you, it was actually really funny because he was doing the presenting for the post-match for all the awards and everything like that.
Love Paul Coyte.
The microphone wasn't working. So, he was on the big screen and he was talking, and then everyone's like, "Oh, we can't hear you, we can't hear you," and he was like the true professional he really is. He was like making a mockery and made it part of the show kind of thing. So and then they changed his microphone and it all.
Oh, fantastic! I love Paul Coyte. I like it when he comes back.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
So Squawker is telling us that Harry Kane is the outright top goal scorer against 4 different Premier League sides.
Wow.
Leicester, Arsenal, West Brom, and now Burnley has been added to that list.
Crazy.
I'd be interested to know if any other striker holds that distinction. Not necessarily those particular clubs, but just has been the top scorer against 4 different sides.
Yeah, with the amount of goals Alan Shearer.
You would think, yeah.
You would think that he would have at least a couple.
Yeah.
But I don't know that for a fact.
I think we should employ the YouTube hive mind to find out for us.
Well, if any of you guys know those stats out there or can find them out, do let us know in the comment section.
Absolutely.
But that is unbelievable. And 17 goals against Leicester.
Yeah, he loves scoring against Leicester, doesn't he? 17 in 18 performances.
Something like that. Yeah. And I mean, 13 against Arsenal. Only player, I think, in Premier League history now to score against a certain team 8 years on the trot.
That's right, yeah.
So, unbelievable stuff. And for that to happen against Arsenal,
it's sweet. We had we had a brush with this gentleman
Yes, we did.
on Thursday, Callum Law, who is a massive Kulusevski fan,
He is.
to the extent that he brought his own Swedish flag
Yes.
to the pub, draped across him, and he was fortunate enough to meet his favourite player.
Yeah, exactly. And check that out on the Arsenal vlog.
Yes.
He was right there at the beginning. So, yeah, it's good to meet him.
Yeah. There's a reply here. I'm not sure about that one. So more from Dejan on Instagram saying, "Thank you from the bottom of my heart for making me feel at home. See you soon. Come on, you Spurs."
Big up Dejan. He's absolutely been an absolutely stellar signing.
Definitely.
Revolutionised our attack this season, in my opinion. And I think that we definitely have a hole in the team when he's not playing.
Yes,
do believe
I think so. Mora gave a medium account of himself yesterday. There was some good things, but not that many. But yeah, compared to Kulusevski, it's night and day, absolutely. More from Harry Kane. I think he's talking about Conte here. So he says, "I think the improvement has definitely been there since the gaffer came in to where we are now. It shows it can be done in a short space of time, but obviously we will see what happens over the summer and look forward to the next season with a great manager."
Exactly. So, I mean, that's a message, isn't it? Let's see what happens over the summer,
Yep.
which is the key point there, isn't it?
I think so. Everyone's saying it. Everyone is saying it. Conte is saying it. The players are saying it. The fans are saying it. Just need to now see if a specific person says it too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Get that checkbook out, Lee.
Get it out. Yeah. From Thomas Frank, most Premier League wins since the start of March, and Spurs are second in that list.
Level with Liverpool.
Level with
Above
Liverpool.
Man City.
Yeah. It just again shows that you can argue that this club or that club or the other club should get top four. Spurs have probably done the most from the position they were in to get it. Whether we don't know, but we've certainly put the work in.
But I mean, for Brentford to have the same amount of wins as Man City since the start of March,
Absolutely, it's insane. This is why I like Brentford so much. They're a good, strong side. They play really good football. Thomas Frank has got them set up really well, especially with their resources that they have available. They're doing a good job.
All right, next up.
And this about yesterday, I think. Richarlison should have had a penalty there, but he was unfortunate he doesn't play for Spurs.
Some salt on
Yeah. Would you like
Throwing
some
some more
pepper with
salt.
that to go with your
No,
salt?
just salt, extra
Just
salt,
salt. Absolutely. And those are the ones that I've got. Did you have one more that you wanted added to that? And let me see if it comes up. There was one more, wasn't there? There we go. There's a few more, actually. Bear with. Let me just scroll.
That one of Stell was that.
Oh, yeah.
First one next, yeah.
There we go. So Stell's done a stylized sort of screenshot from Thursday's game. More powerful than nuclear. The thing I love most is being a year. That's actually quite a nice bit of artwork. I'll sort of make it a little bit bigger if that shows up. Not sure if it will.
I was talking to Stell after the game yesterday, and he was like, "I can't believe it. I'm actually going to have to wear that shirt."
Yes.
I'm actually going to have to wear that shirt. But
It may well
I'll tell
be.
you, it's not done and dusted till the fat lady sings.
Absolutely. But Stell's, I would be sourcing that shirt ASAP. What else we got? So this is again from Mike McGrath, what you mentioned earlier. NUFC incentivizing performances for their players in the last two games. It's fantastic.
I mean, what more could we want?
What more can we want? Yeah.
What more can we want?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I mean, I genuinely believe it is going to be a cauldron at St James's
I
Park
think so.
tonight, and I think it's going to be an atmosphere which I don't know if Arsenal are going to be able to handle.
Yeah.
Especially with the kind of injuries that they have as well.
Definitely. Look, this Arsenal side is really young. When Alan Hansen very famously many years ago said you can't win anything with kids, and then was proven wrong, there was some truth to what he was saying. The reason that he felt like that is not necessarily because you can't get talented kids. Of course you can. We've seen them. We've seen the likes of Wayne Rooney, Michael Owen, people like that coming in at a very young age and setting fire to the league. The point is that these are still immature young men. Imagine those of us who are above that age. Think what you were like at that age. Think about how easily things that happened to you affected your mood, affected the way that you went about things, because we're still growing at that age, we're still developing at that age. It's almost a little bit unfair to put so much pressure on people that young. Not that I feel sorry for Arsenal players. So put them in a pressure cooker like that, you know, they're going to be affected by it.
Absolutely. Completely agree. What have we got next?
More vids again from Tottenham Hotspur. Bom dia, sois Newcastle. That's the Brazil Spurs official supporters club. We've got Dejan, Kane, Sonny, and it looks like Lucas Moura.
Lucas, yeah.
in Newcastle strips. I'm hoping that's not saying that they're going to be transferring the sort of, you know, the three on the left. But yeah, I think it's fair to say we're all Newcastle fans.
Away the
tonight.
lads. Away
Absolutely.
The lads.
Lovely picture there of Kane and Son again, which we showed earlier with their. I think that's Kane's family.
Yeah,
well, it has to be. It's not Son's family. His family weren't there.
Yeah.
Poor Son. He was all by himself.
His dad doesn't let him marry anyone.
No,
till his career's over.
Till his career's over, absolutely. He's going to explode on his wedding night, you know.
I think on his wedding night, I think his wife is going to probably give birth 9 months after the wedding night to 6 babies.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, once they scrape her off the ceiling, probably. You know, it's going to be it's going to be frightening. I'm glad I won't be there. And then yes, someone has done a very interesting workup job with a little bit of tape. The colour works with Trippier on the back, and as you say, Tim, Ben, he's bigged up Spurs and says he's going to do it for us. I loved Kieran Trippier. I had a lot of time for him. I really did.
Yeah. Do you think with Kieran Trippier maybe we let him go a bit too early?
I think we did. Yeah. There was stuff going on in the background, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was. I mean, apparently he was playing with an injury throughout that whole season, and that in itself, for him to play through an injury for us, I mean, he was committed to the cause, wasn't he? And
Definitely.
that. When you saw the kind of path we went down after selling him, I mean, it's pretty much a no-brainer, isn't it?
Absolutely. And even in the January, when we were talking about transfers, I was banging the Trippier drum. I was saying we should be going in for him because he's got pace. Obviously not as much as he had because he's getting on a little bit, but he still had pace. He can put in a cross. He's an absolute master of set pieces. You know, he played for Atletico, he played for Diego Simeone, one of the best teams in Spain, one of the best managers in the world. You know, there's value there, and we really should have gone in for him. We didn't. Newcastle got him. Obviously, he had the unfortunate injury that sort of kept him out for a bit, but we did let him go early, and we should have got him back. But hey, that's the way it goes.
If he scores the winner tonight against Arsenal, would you retract that statement?
What, letting him go? Oh, I see. Letting him. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, that I would be more sanguine about it. Let's put it that way. It's like we let him go and we should have got him, but you know what? He got us Champions League football anyway. So, hey, them's the breaks.
Exactly. Well, anyway, that is how Twitter reacted to the game yesterday, and also a bit of preview for the Arsenal game. Well, thank you everyone for watching that. We've got a few super chats to get through, and then we'll bring on some guests. Andrew Mason says, as a Spurs and Atalanta United supporter, there is nothing I'd love to see more than Miguel Almiron scoring to send Spurs to Europe. Come on, you Spurs. I mean, I don't even care who scores tonight, just someone. No. I mean, off Nketiah's backside as an own goal for all I care, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just get the job done tonight, Newcastle.
I think what's going to happen, someone's going to boot it up, it's going to go up into the air, it's going to hit a seagull, drop back down, and then just bounce over Ramsdale's head.
The Aussie Italian fan says Eric Dier calls on Antonio Conte to stay at Tottenham and continue special relationship. Ben, great show as always. Love being a part of the Spurs family. Did you see that Eric Dier interview yesterday?
I missed it, no.
So yeah, he was talking and he was saying that the players have a real special bond with Antonio Conte, and the way that Antonio Conte is on the sidelines is exactly the way he is in training,
right.
And stuff like that. Just very high words. And he did seem slightly bit worried that Conte could leave in the summer. He was like saying that I just really hope he's going to be here because we need him here next season.
He's just echoing what everyone is saying. There is no one who doesn't want Conte at Spurs next season within the sort of Spurs family that we know of. Fans, players, he himself says he wants to stay. You know, it's just, again, down to you, Mr. Levy. down to you. Listen to what is being said, okay? Listen to what is being said. Work out what it is you need to do to keep him, and then do it.
Yeah, and don't try and weasel your way around with some.
Absolutely.
excuses.
Absolutely.
COYS 1995, welcome to Silver, my friend. Good to have you, and thank you for the support. And a super chat from Min To Lee. Big up Min To Lee, a member for 11 months.
Wow.
And she says, the Mora sexual is back. He had a good game yesterday, creating chances. Could use him in rotation with Kulu for low block teams. And actually, coming into the game yesterday, knowing Lucas Moura was going to play, I actually thought that's a game that would suit Lucas more, because Lucas doesn't really thrive in the games where he has a lot of space. He thrives in the games where, you know, there are players in front of him where he can take on players, because I don't think he utilizes that space when he has it. He likes ball to feet, taking on men.
Yeah.
And I did think like it was a bit of an improved performance yesterday,
Yeah, it
much
was.
better than it has been the previous couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a good performance compared to what he's sort of delivered recently. I love Moura in terms of him, both his energy, what he did for us in Amsterdam, his COYS sort of social media presence. He's someone that you can have a lot of affection for. I've got to think of what's best for the club. In that scenario, he is upgradable. It would be very sad to see him go, because it's a person that has delivered some wonderful memories for us. But we need to make more memories. In order to do that, I think that is an area where it will be with a heavy heart. Thank you, Lucas, but we need to get someone who's got more quality than you.
Agreed. Koba with the super chat says, I don't know if you guys mentioned it already, but will you guys be doing a watch along today like you did for Chelsea Arsenal? We have had the conversation, and we are still having the conversation, so we're not 100% sure yet. I would like to, but it's just all about getting everything organised in time. So we're not 100% sure about that yet, but we are. Don't worry, if we're going to do one, you guys will know about it. You guys will know about it. Don't you worry about that. Carl Bruce with the super chat saying, think we could add Eriksen and Bale to the squad this summer? Eriksen, yes. Bale, no. I think that Bale, in my opinion, just won't work under Conte. Joe Hart said it, that he said, to say that Gareth Bale wasn't trying hard in training was an understatement.
Oh, wow.
So imagine him doing that under Conte.
Conte wouldn't accept it. Conte would not accept it. And do you know what? I think Conte will know, because managers don't talk to each other. Anyone who's managed Bale will tell him that that's the type he is. Other players will tell him that that's the way he is. If he's not going to work hard, and do you know what? I think that might have been why Mourinho wasn't playing him very much.
I think that's
because
exactly
Mourinho wants hard workers too. He, especially, funnily enough, Mourinho is the type that will say, "You go and look after your fitness," but that doesn't necessarily mean that he doesn't care about it. He will draw conclusions based on what that player does. So, if Bale isn't a hard worker, he definitely is not going into a Conte team.
Yeah, and I think that the actual thing that Mourinho said was that I'm supposed to be coaching grown men, right? I'm supposed to be coaching grown men. I'm going to teach you the tactical side and what to do on the pitch. It's up to you to keep yourself fit.
Yeah, there you go.
That's where he went wrong with the Spurs squad.
I think so. They needed to be led a little
Conte's
more,
doing.
like Conte's doing, absolutely.
But in terms of Christian Eriksen, I mean, we spoke about it a lot today already, but I think Eriksen would be an absolute asset to this squad. Michael Sobers with the Super Chat member for 13 months. Big up. Thank you for the support. Says, big up today, lads. Was at the game yesterday. Great atmosphere and win. Hashtag back Conte. Hopefully we'll see you boys next time. Come on, you Spurs. And that is from Big Mike. So big up,
Thank
Big
you, Mike.
Shame we didn't get to see you yesterday. Another super chat here from Renigan Kumar, a member for 5 months, saying Spurs will win the league next season. Mark my word.
Love the positivity.
Is that the
Absolutely
delusion
love
we were
it.
talking about?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's got to be to that level. It has to be. Deal with the hurt when it happens. Yeah. Be happy and be positive until the hurt arrives.
Absolutely. All right, so that brings an end to the super chats. Now it is your time to have your say, and let's start bringing on some guests. And let's start off with Mikey.
Hey guys.
Hey, Mikey.
How you doing, Mikey?
I'm all good. How are you guys?
Yeah, good mate, good mate. Obviously, big game tonight. We're all Newcastle fans tonight, aren't we?
I mean, I've always been one because my mum was born in Newcastle, so I've always had a little bit of a soft spot for the joy.
That's it.
Can
Even
you do
more
the
for
accent?
then tonight, even more. Yeah.
Can you do the accent, Mikey?
I will not be trying the accent.
Mikey, I
can't.
want you for the case of this interview only to carry out this interview in only a Geordie accent.
Yeah.
I man up the tune.
Superb.
All right, Mikey. But what was your opinions on the game yesterday?
It was a very hard fought win. It was almost the opposite of the North London derby, and to play such contrasting games in such a small turnover time and still get 6 points out of 6 is a testament to the quality that Conte has brought to this dressing room. I think it was a very mature performance. You know, we've seen under previous managers us get into that sort of situation, and you know, obviously we had the results back in January where it was found out that we struggled to break down low block teams, and that's all obviously still that's probably going to be one of the main talking points Conte delves into once the rest period is over into pre-season, is how to break down low block teams. You need that creative midfielder who can play those passes, because Harry Kane was playing sort of eye of the needle passes yesterday, and every Burnley defender, Collins especially, was just repelling them with almost little to no effort. So I think we definitely need to change up a strategy when it comes to those teams. Obviously, we got a bit of luck with the penalty, which I don't think there's much debate about it. Pre-VAR, that wouldn't have been given. But in the VAR era, you've seen penalties given for much less. Dier against Newcastle always comes up in my head when I think about VAR penalty decisions and injustices. So I think that was, well, it's not clear cut, but in this day of replays and angles, it was never going to be anything other than a penalty. Because his arm's out here.
If your arm's out like that,
Yeah.
and it's hitting you there, not even on the sleeve where it's not allowed anymore, it's hitting you there.
Yeah.
I mean, surely it's
By
got
the
to be
letter,
given.
by the letter of the law, it's a penalty. I mean, it's a very specific law, and obviously, if that's given against us, we'll be chatting all day long about our. But it's in the letter of the law that is a penalty, and Burnley don't really have anything to complain about. It's not a disgrace that it was given. It's
I mean, Burnley don't have anything to complain about. Arsenal certainly don't have anything to complain about.
Absolutely.
Oh no, they don't. They've had decisions go their way many a time, and they're always like, oh no, it was clear cut. Oh no, that we.
Yeah,
it's
Saka
just common
pulls
sense.
down Azpilicueta in the box.
Yeah.
Penalty to Arsenal.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yes.
And they went searching for it as well against us, with Nketiah diving when Dier made absolutely no contact.
And they have the cheek to talk about Sonny diving for the penalty as well.
Yeah.
But anyway, Mikey, talk to me about top four now and what you're thinking about it.
So top four is, I mean, again, it's unfortunate that we're in this situation, but previous results have put us in such that it's not in our hands. Again, that's the killer, not the
That
killer.
could all
but the thing
change
is,
tonight, though, can't it?
Yeah.
it could all change, and I'm very much hoping that it does. But I'm not going to pretend like it's a clear-cut issue that Newcastle are going to win, because obviously they could very well put in they came to us, went 1-0 up, and then we battered them 5-1. So they are susceptible to a drubbing, but obviously that was away and this is at home.
And also they were a different team. Well, not really, actually. It was only a few weeks ago. I was thinking about when we played them earlier on in the season when the owners just took over just before Eddie Howe came in. But no, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, it's a very difficult game for Arsenal to go up and take all 3 points from there, because they know they need to. The defeat against us, or I was going to say defeat against Tottenham. The defeat against us is going to be fresh in their minds. Watching us win in the way we did yesterday, it depends if they take it. Depends. You can take it one or two ways. They can take it as lucky, or they can take it as resilient. So, as much as I'm sure they'd love to think it was a lucky win, they're definitely looking at performance and go, Tottenham were bloody resilient. And Gary Neville was saying on his little podcast thing that he does with Ryan Tyler that Tottenham have that bit more maturity than this Arsenal team, who are very youthful, very exuberant, play brilliant attacking football when they have the chance to, which is fairly often in the last few games, Tottenham notwithstanding. But they are very, at the same time, vulnerable because they've lost their key midfielder and they're playing a midfield two of El Neni and Xhaka, which ain't going to put up any trees. And I think squad-wise, it would benefit Tottenham more because we have players of Champions League quality. I'm not saying that Arsenal don't, because I do think Bukayo Saka and Emile Smith-Rowe can become Champions League quality players. There's no doubt about Saka, especially. He's a wonderful player. But Tottenham have that sort of overall squad. Eric Dier, Christian Romero, Hugo Lloris, Kane, Son, all these players have played in the Champions League before. I don't think Arsenal have a single player in their starting 11, or like maybe one or two that have played a game of Champions League football before. Maybe Granit Xhaka and
Where did
Gabriel.
Xhaka come from?
He came from Gladbach, I think.
Who came from Gladbach, sorry?
Granit Xhaka, he came from Gladbach.
Yeah, I believe he did, yeah.
So maybe Xhaka and Gabriel, because he came from Lyon, who regularly are in the Champions League. So I think they've got one or two players who've played UCL games before. Maybe El Neni, he's been there that long. But I think for top four wise, it would give
Thomas Partey, obviously.
Oh yeah, of course. But obviously he's injured. So,
He's injured, yeah.
But I'd still say that Tottenham would probably have a fair crack at making the round of 16 and quarterfinals more than I think Arsenal would probably end up going out in the group stage. But obviously that depends on the group draw and who gets it. But honestly,
it obviously depends on what kind of summers both clubs have as well.
Yeah, because obviously if Tottenham and Arsenal regularly battle it for the same player in the transfer market, we've seen stories of numerous players every transfer window going Tottenham interested in potential Arsenal target or Arsenal interested in potential Tottenham target. And it's going to be that if we're going in for the same player, one of us has Champions League football, one of us has Europa League football, it's going to weigh up the scales massively. Are you going to want to play in front of Champions League anthem on a packed out Wednesday night, or are you going to want to play in the Europa League, on a Thursday? We've seen Europa League games under Mourinho, and they didn't really light up the crowd. And I'm just hoping
that's because they were behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Oh,
No crowd to light up.
Yeah. No, but Mikey, in terms of the pool both clubs have, is it not worth saying that, with players like Harry Kane, Heung-min Son, Romero, Kulusevski, Bentancur, players that are seasoned pros, even regardless of their age, seasoned pros, with the manager of Antonio Conte, when you look at Arsenal, they've got Mikel Arteta. Even with Arsenal getting the Champions League, do you not think Spurs are a bigger pool?
Yeah, but don't underestimate the pull of Champions League football. That is always going to be a factor. So I do think that Tottenham having Champions League football would sort of cement our place as the club to be in North London, as it were. But I don't think if Arsenal get Champions League football and they go out and they're looking for a striker, and Tottenham, God forbid, they ever address the needs of a backup to Harry Kane, if they're going in for a striker as well, obviously Arsenal have their sights set on Gabriel Jesus, so maybe that's sort of in our favour. But at the same time, I'm just saying that not necessarily would be a better pull, but being in Champions League football will definitely give players more of an incentive to join the club.
I think the striker situation's a bit different because we got Harry Kane. When you look at, a few years ago when we were linked with Alvaro Morata, whether you want him or not is regardless to the point in this situation. He didn't want to come to Spurs because he didn't want to play back up to Harry Kane, and he didn't back himself to be better than Harry Kane and to get into the team instead of Harry Kane. When you look at Arsenal, they don't have a striker, so you're going to play minutes regardless.
Yeah, there is that, definitely.
So I think with a striker, there's a different situation there. But let's say you're a centre-back, you're a top centre-back, Arsenal are in the Champions League, we've got Antonio Conte, there's holes in both teams for that spot. Who are you going to?
I mean, it depends, because if we're buying from Inter Milan, like we've been linked with constantly, I think there's pretty much a no-brainer. Conte gets the pick because he's worked with these players before. The pull of Conte is massive, but it depends if we're buying out of the Italian league or we're buying someone from the Portuguese league or from somewhere else. So I think that is also a factor to take it. But I think Tottenham would probably be the more desirable destination, just based on everything. Better stadium, better training facilities, better manager. Probably not better money. That's, again, another thing, because Arsenal tend to spend bigger than Tottenham do on wages and stuff, because we have a very strict wage structure. I think our top earner
I don't know if that's true anymore, though. I'm not sure if that's true anymore.
The thing you got to bear in mind is that it's never going to be one single factor that will be the determinant. It will be a combination of them. So you could offer a player, let's say, less wages than Arsenal, but On the flip side, they might look at the training ground and the stadium and the fact that we've got Conte and say, do you know what, I'm happy to play for less wages if it means I get to play in this wonderful venue under this wonderful manager. On the flip side, you could have a player who Arsenal offer them more wages, and they will turn around and say, well, yeah, your stadium's shit, your training ground's shit, your manager's definitely shit, but you're paying me more money. So it's swings and roundabouts. It won't be down to a single factor. And I think that one thing that we do need to bear in mind is that even with our strict wage structure, if that still exists, Spurs and Arsenal have similar turnovers to each other. Yeah. It's in the £340 million a year range. So our top earner is on £250,000 a week. That is not a bad wage for any football. Kane is on 250 a week. That is not a bad wage. You know, there's very few players that get paid more than that. So if there is a player that wants, say, 250,000 a week, and we want to get him, and Conte says that's the player for me, I think we've also got the capacity to offer wages. We're not going to offer stupid wages like Bale wages or Haaland wages, but your top professional wages, I still think that's within our gift.
Absolutely. Yeah, I do. Again, like obviously we've got our top earners at the club. I think our top three is Kane, Son, and funnily enough, Ndombele.
Yeah, Lloris I think is up there as well.
Lloris is like 4th or 5th now on his new deal. But yeah, either way, I think the pull of Tottenham and Arsenal is down. North London is definitely going to be. There's going to be high turnover of players from both clubs. Well, not necessarily in outgoings from either, but incomings definitely. Conte wants like 6 new arrivals. And if Levy can do it, and I will say one thing is that if, God forbid, touch all kinds of wooden substances, Arsenal do end up.
What substances are you touching?
Well, there's a tree outside, so I'll be right back. No.
Wood is a substance. Just touch the wood. That sounded so wrong. I'm sorry.
Touch the. Oh my God. Oh my God.
It's like Bob Spur on Saturday, my God.
Well, this isn't the kind of stream I thought I was coming on for. No. If we do end up finishing behind Arsenal, and we've done everything we could, like we've put in so many top class performances, I just don't want the boys to get demoralised. Losing Champions League football to your biggest rival by a single point, even after beating them 3-0 in your own stadium, I don't want that to be a situation where they lose inspiration or they lose confidence. I don't think they will, because I think Conte's brought a mindset of never give up, keep going. But I don't want that thing of sort of putting absolutely everything we can into the season, and 90th minute Trossard winner is going to be the difference between us and Arsenal getting top 4. I just don't want the boys to get demoralised by that.
Absolutely. And they should look to their victories over Man City for inspiration, not that sort of unfortunate goal right at the end.
Yeah. And it's I've been talking for a really long time. I'll just say quickly that I think overall I'm very much rooting for Newcastle. Did you see the pictures online of the Spurs fan who's put like black duct tape down the front of his jersey to make it look like a Newcastle one? Mm-hmm. So I really hope Newcastle can get the job done, and I'm honestly very much looking forward to John Joe Shelby scoring the winner.
Not Kieran Trippier.
I think because obviously Trips is just coming back from injury. I think he came as a sub last week, so I think he will start this week, especially against Arsenal. But him against Bukayo Saka is good. Actually, who plays on maybe Martinelli? Actually, him against Martinelli is going to be a battle for the ages, hopefully. Yeah. So it's sort of North England versus North London, and I back the two in army to come up on top of them.
South London, yeah.
Oh, South London. I must correct myself. Back to Woolwich. No,
exactly.
Definitely a very, very pivotal game, not only in Arsenal season, but in Tottenham's as well. Battle for the top 4 could come down to this game, because obviously Everton tripping up yesterday. Now they had the chance to secure their status as a Premier League club, and they didn't take it. So hopefully it sort of goes down.
Yeah,
if Everton
they got another game midweek, don't they?
Thursday. Thursday, is it?
Thursday.
Yeah. Everton play.
I think they
play
Palace, yeah.
Right, so
who are not an easy prospect.
No, they're not.
So if Palace, but they're playing at Goodison, so But obviously they did lose. They did lose to Goodison yesterday. But let's just
Yesterday,
hope
yeah.
let's just hope Everton are still in need of a win or a draw on the final day of the season. Because if Newcastle somehow don't win this game or draw, if Arsenal somehow win this game, then we're going to have to be all looking at Everton. We're going to have sort of one eye on Tottenham versus Norwich and one eye on whatever TV channels are streaming which games. I don't know who's streaming which. So either way, now we've got after tonight, we've just got to focus on ourselves again. Obviously, you are going to be watching that. Saw Harry Kane's interview at the end saying, "Over to you, Arsenal." So the ball's very much in Arsenal's court, and let's hope they miss this 3-pointer.
Absolutely.
Fingers crossed.
Absolutely. Before we let you go, what is your score prediction for tonight?
Let's see. I'm going to go for I think it's going to be an enthralling game because obviously Newcastle aren't the Steve Bruce team. They don't just sit back. They caused us problems in the first half, and they even got a goal out of it before Tottenham battered them. So I think it'll be either a 2-1 or a 2-2. Please don't ask me to stand by one because I really don't know what's going to happen.
When you say 2-1, you mean 2-1 to Newcastle?
Yeah. I mean 2-1 to Newcastle or a 2-2 draw. If even Arsenal know that a draw is not enough for them because our goal difference, because we've been banging in the goals this year, our goal difference makes us a draw. They need to win. Period. They need to win both games.
Yes.
A draw in any one of those games will take them out of it. And unless Norwich put 10 past us, any drop points will guarantee Tottenham top 4. So up the tune and come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Thanks for coming on today, Mikey.
Thanks a lot, Mikey.
You're welcome. Bye, guys.
We had a super chat from Alex. Here we go. Alex Samuels. Big up, Alex. And he says, undecided whether to watch the game tonight. Feeling not great about it. Frustrating that we are a much better team than Arsenal and could finish behind them. And yeah, it is frustrating because I genuinely believe we are the much better team than Arsenal.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that it was the Nuno era that has really held us back this season. And I think that I completely agree with what I'm about to say here. It's like if Conte was our manager when we should have brought him in the summer, top 4 would have been wrapped up a long time ago.
Definitely. Possibly even higher. Possibly even higher. Given Chelsea's travails this season, we may even have had third. I mean, look at them now. It's not going to happen because one of the teams they're playing is Watford. But, they've got 2 games left. If they lose both of those and we win both of ours, we now win our last game, we can finish above them. We could have done so much better. No disrespect to Nuno because he's a nice enough guy, but he should never have been anywhere near our club.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, let's bring on our next guest, and he's our friend from Poland, and that is Michael.
Big up, Michael.
How you doing, buddy?
Yes, hello again, guys.
Remember
long
not
time
to
no
swear
see,
too much,
right?
Michael. Don't swear too much. Don't swear too much.
I will try, I promise. Sorry. I will be a good boy, right?
Michael, let's talk a bit about the game yesterday first and foremost. What did you make out of it? Were we lucky? Did we deserve the win yesterday?
No, I don't think we were lucky because, Arsenal has been lucky with the decisions that they've been getting, the ones that weren't given against them. This wasn't a lucky decision. This was a right decision. It was just, and that's it, right? As you guys said, if you have your arm extended like that and it hits you on the biceps or somewhere, even further, then it's a handball. Nothing to debate there. So, let's just stop this chat about us getting favorable decisions, because I would even argue that we are the team that gets unfavorable decisions, considering 2 or 3 times the players should have been sent off playing against us, in game against Brighton, the Mwepu, he fought 4 times or 5 times.
Fabinho.
And of course, Fabinho against Liverpool, right? But I didn't come here to whine about that, because it is what it is. It happened, and you can't do anything about it. But guys, what I wanted to talk about is, at least I feel like there is a big shift of mentality in our team and in our fan base. of course you can feel it much more because you are there in England, you attend matches, and you can like there is of course a lot of more Spurs fans around you. But what I feel coming from the team is that everyone, including the manager and the players, is saying that everything is working, that they love playing for that club. Like we have those statements from the Decky, we have statements from Eric, Dier. Then also Harry Kane came out and said that he's enjoying his time here, and off to you Arsenal, just show us what you got, and we are waiting here. I'm excited for next season, right? Those were pretty much his words. So I personally think that a lot of football is up here, and how much how good you do is strictly connected to mentality. Of course it's all about tactics and skill too, but if your mind isn't there, then your legs won't. And you could clearly see that when we are playing under Nuno. And I personally feel like that Nuno was also a bit unlucky in terms of where our club was in that period, because I feel like if he came, let's say, for example, straight after Pochettino, when spirits were a bit higher than they were actually a lot higher because there was no spirit when Nuno came, right? I feel like he could have done a bit better than he did, but Kane wasn't the only person that was down tooling,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's right.
down tools when Nuno was here, because pretty much nobody except Sonny and Lucas were playing,
Yeah.
and even Sonny didn't have like the best matches,
Yeah.
and all the other 9 people on the pitch were pretty much non-existent. And it's hard to win when
I'd
your team
actually add
doesn't
Eric
play.
Dier into that conversation as well.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, Regi was also kind of great. Royal was okay. So but the key figures on our pitch didn't perform up to their standards. And now with Conte, with what he brought to that team, I can see like the spirit, the mentality, the resilience, all those buzzwords that we use, right? But buzzwords is a wrong explanation, because like it would it would imply that it's not true. But I just feel like I feel a lot of passion towards that team. I feel a lot of respect towards that team, and I'm really proud of them. And I really like the characters that are in this team, and that's to me like the best feeling that I had supporting Spurs, probably, because like it's been a long time since that Champions League final, right?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, there were plenty of players that I personally didn't enjoy watching, uh, mainly because of the mentality that they had. I'm talking about Dele, I'm talking about Sissoko, Oriel, all those guys that I do realize that they were performing when I wasn't a fan yet, right? But what I came to watching Tottenham, I didn't see the heart and passion, and that's pretty much all that matters to me. Uh, like
I'm not sure about Sissoko. I think Sissoko had heart. He did his best. It wasn't wonderfully good, but he did do it.
I think Sissoko did have heart, but I do think that he lost it in the latter stages of his Spurs career. I do genuinely believe that, and I think that he wasn't putting in the hard yards like he used to.
Perhaps.
Yeah, so Russ, I was proclaiming myself to be a fan since that Champions League run, but I actually really started watching games only after Mourinho came, pretty much, because I was slowly getting into it.
Of course.
And of course, COVID helped too, because I had a lot more free time than I used to
Sure.
back in the day, right? So when I started watching, Sissoko wasn't up to his best. He wasn't that beast in the midfield that some of you guys described him to me, right? And in terms of like players coming back from loans, or getting some old players back to the team, I feel like what is ahead of us is a new chapter, and I feel like we should we should cut the ropes. I'm not sure about the phrase I should use here, but we should just leave the past behind and we should focus on the future. And I do realize that Eriksen is a brilliant player and his stats show this, but I'm not sure if I want him back in the team. And it's not because I don't like him, and it's not because I don't feel like he will show passion and heart, just because I feel like we should start something new and complete the clear out, like get Wings out of the team and all those other guys, right, that don't want to perform for Antonio. Bring Antonio the players that he wants and let him build something.
What if Antonio wants Eriksen?
Yeah, he's the master, so of course, like if he wants Eriksen, of course, like it's just my opinion, right? And he's the one that decides, hopefully, of course. But I just feel like from his interviews, Antonio's, I feel like he sees the passion in the fans, and this is something that we talked about once or twice, Ben. That I feel like he likes to be a frontman of a club. He likes to be the face of the club, right? And he sees potential here because we are so starved of success, and we are so starved of like anything positive happening. For the past 4 years, pretty much nothing positive happened except that Champions League run, right? Because in league we were shocking, and at the end of that season, of course. But I just feel like that he is just waiting for that confirmation that he pretty much showed Levy, like, I am here, I want to be here, I am passionate about this club. Like the way that you described him watching the highlights of the season, right? I could see that he was proud, he was happy, but he just needs backing, and that's pretty much the message I wanted to convey, right? That we have to back this team and this manager, and we have to start a new chapter. And I personally don't mind if we don't end up in the Champions League. I know it's less money for the team to spend, but I'm still bloody proud of this team, and they just gave me so many positive emotions. I never expected us to go on a mad streak of wins where we were scoring 4 goals a game. That's mad in my eyes, and I was so happy, and I am still so happy and so proud of the team's performances, right? Sorry, I went on.
No, it's all right, Michael. It's all right,
I
Michael.
I always do that. I start talking.
It's okay. It's okay. We love hearing your opinions, but just
absolutely,
we've still got more guests to get through, so we're going to move on. But just before we let you go, I want to hear your score prediction for tonight. What do you think is going to happen, and how do you think it's going to play out?
I think this will be a tough match for both sides, and I will repeat what I said yesterday. That I feel like the key is that whoever scores first has a lot more chance to win that game, because from what we have seen of Newcastle in that season, since Eddie Howe came, is that when they score first, they usually tend to instill a lot of belief into themselves. And similar thing happened with Arsenal, right? The matches that they conceded first, they won only one of them, I think. And I feel like if Newcastle get the first goal, the heads will drop, and at least I hope that's what will happen. So my score prediction, I think I will go with what Mikey said, and it will be 2-1 to Newcastle, or 2-2, in my opinion.
All right, I'll take either of those. I'll take either of those right now.
We just need to draw. We just need to draw. Like,
absolutely,
please, Newcastle. Just a quick thing, guys, because you probably know the kickoff, right? And through Jordy's chat. And Jordy is often saying that Saint Maximin, or sorry, however you pronounce his name.
No, that's right. That's correct.
1 in 4 good games, and he hasn't had a good game for past 3 to 4 games, so I'm expecting a banger today.
Yeah, Dr. Arsenal to turn up.
Exactly.
Yeah, Dr. Arsenal. Dr. Scum.
Absolutely. He doesn't get many patients, Dr. Scum. No, he doesn't. Don't know why.
Yeah.
Michael, big up. Thanks for coming on today, and we'll speak to you soon.
Take care, Michael.
Big up, guys. Take care.
I'm hearing there's a lot of people in the back end today, so we have to probably get through a bit quicker. But we've got a super chat here from the Aussie Italian fan saying Tottenham cannot afford to lose Conte at the end of the season, no matter what happens with the race for the top four. He completely changed everything in the club since Paratici was a master to get Conte. He is the maestro.
Yeah, you can't lose Conte. You can't. It's like an incredibly valuable asset. You got to look after it. You got to.
Absolutely. And Faz Radfar is also, gents, how can I join the live chat show, please? Well, if you're a member, the link is in the community section. I don't think we're going to have time to do people that are not members today because the line's just super, super busy. But if you want to get a membership and then join, the link will be in the community section for you. But let's move on and let's go to my brother, Mr. Brian Daigle. It's me, it's BDD.
And I'm five.
Oh, don't.
Mr. Daigle, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, brother.
I hope that shirt's not in the wash, by the way.
Hey, no, I thought you were going to take the mickey out of this shirt, which is the shirt. Do you remember, Ben? We were talking about that.
I remember, mate. I remember.
The shirt came out, and I was like, what monstrosity is this? And then I looked back and I was wearing this shirt. Yeah, mate, trust me, that shirt is in the wardrobe, not washed.
Did you get
I
any
got
more stains on it
buy
this
2
week?
cans of deodorant so I can blitz the fuck out of it. And yeah, all good.
So I know you got...
And it's
you
crashed.
No, you're still here.
No, you're still here, Brian. Brian, can you hear us?
Brian Daigle, it's me.
What's going on with Brian?
I'm still here.
You've
Brian,
not left, mate.
You're still here.
What's going on with Brian?
I'm still here.
What's going on with him?
Brian,
can you hear us?
What's going on with him?
We are Tottenham TV calling Brian.
Brian, can you hear us?
No.
Then how do you know what question we asked? No, ignore me.
All right, let's bring someone else on and we'll see if he can reconnect.
We'll reconnect, yeah.
Yeah, do that. And we were just about to bring Stelios on, but he's gone for walkies now with his red chair on show.
No, there he is.
With his red chair on show. Let's bring him on.
Yeah. Why are you sitting in a red chair, Stels?
Every time I come on We Are Tottenham TV, the first thing you do is call out something negative about me. When are you going to change your ways about me, lad? When is this going to stop? All I ever hear is, oh, he winds people up. Oh, he wears a red chair. I'm the nuts.
I don't mind about winding. Do you mind about him winding people up? Just change the red chair.
I'm a top Spurs fan. Show some love, man. Show some love.
No top Spurs fan will be coming on We Are Tottenham TV in an Arsenal shirt.
Yeah.
Well, if I've made a forfeit bet, I have to. And I would advise you park that confidence until it happens, buddy, because as it stands, we don't know what's going to happen. Like, we're coming 4th or 5th. That's the only thing we know.
Yeah. Let's talk about the game yesterday. I mean, a lot of Arsenal fans coming out of the woodworks yesterday, calling Spurs lucky, calling the decision a joke of the penalty. I mean, just what's your opinions on those matters?
They're a bunch of salty, worried, scared, fearful fans that told us that they were going to come to White Hart Lane on Thursday, beat the Tottenham, St Totteringham's Day is back. It's going to be the day that we won Champions League football qualification at White Hart Lane. They gave it all of that. They came, they shat themselves, they crapped the bed, they went home, no goals, 3 goals put past them. They are absolutely in tatters what we did to them as a fan base, as a manager, as our starting 11, the subs, everything. The moment got to them and they just can't handle it because they built it up to be this big, big thing. We didn't build it up.
Yep.
We never built it up to be that. They did. And what did they do? They shat the bed. So let them be salty. Let them be upset. Let them say things like, oh, you got a lucky penalty. Oh, you got a lucky red card. Oh, let me tell you something. Football is not fair. Football will never be fair. Is it fair that Man City can spend £300 million and we can't? Is it fair that Chelsea have bought trophies for 20 years and we can't? No, But what happens in football is opportunities present themselves. Man United had an opportunity to score a penalty at the Emirates. Did they score it? No. Are they moaning about it? No. We had an opportunity to score a penalty against Arsenal and against Burnley. Did we take it? Yes. So park that, Arsenal.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Absolutely love that. But on the game yesterday, I mean, how did you assess that game? I mean, how tense were you during that game yesterday?
I wasn't tense, so to speak, Ben, because after the Arsenal game, you, Rez, I, Barry, Brian, all of us. Well, not Brian because he was in Canada, but we all met up.
He did it
and
there as well. He did do it there.
In
Yeah, in
spirit.
spirit. Yeah.
In spirit, he was there in spirit. He came through the Batman sign at night in the sky. We could see his face.
Exactly.
But we all spoke about what we thought would happen against Burnley, and I said that we'll beat Burnley. I was confident about the Burnley game because I just felt that the vibe and the support that came off the back of that Arsenal game, we would make sure that continued through. And when it was difficult against Burnley and we were tired because the Premier League have done their best to shaft us by giving us a 12 o'clock fixture on Sunday whilst everyone else plays later.
They tried
the last
to
10
stop
minutes.
us and look what it did.
Yeah.
The thing I love most is being a beep. Being a beep. beep.
Yid.
Yid. I'm sorry, I didn't know if we're allowed to say it in the show, but yeah, being a yid, man, being a yid. But the last 10 minutes, when the players were tired, when you could see Emerson went down with a bit of cramp, Ben Davies went down holding his leg, you could see that the fatigue and the tiredness was getting to us. The fans, the last 10 minutes, raised the decibels again, and we got them over the line. We helped them get the job done. And on the balance of play, if it was a draw, I don't think anyone could have complained because Burnley's second half came at us. But we took our chances and we won the game. And that's what it comes down to. So, look, it was always going to be a tough game. A lot of fans were saying, 5-0, 3-0. I knew it wasn't going to be that kind of a game because that Thursday night game took a lot out of us, mentally, physically. And we had such a short turnaround. And the squad is now, it's depleted. No Skip, no Romero, no Doherty, no Reggie, no backup for the positions other than maybe centre-back, Rodon. That's it. So we done well, guys. We did well. That Burnley game, we did really, really well to win it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And on the game tonight, what's your opinions on the game tonight? And do you think Arsenal will be able to handle the pressure in front of a packed Newcastle crowd? The fans will be giving it. The chairman, the Newcastle chairman, has incentivized their squad to finish as high as they can in the league. Will Arsenal be able to handle the pressure tonight, do you reckon?
Ben, I beg you, don't make me predict what's going to happen because whenever this happens,
I am making you predict.
You know, if I predict something, right, the opposite's going to happen. I'm going to end up in the mud. We're going to not get the result we want. So if I just say, I don't know that there's a game tonight.
Predict, Stelios, and own your prediction as well. Own it, my friend.
Look, all right. I hate.
Listen, no, it's simple. Stelios, no, simple. Look, if you know what the result's going to be of your prediction, and it's not going to be what you predict, then you've got to predict the thing that you don't want. It's simple.
So you want me to lie?
Maybe. No, don't do it still. No, I'm with you. Don't predict. Don't predict. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't. Ben, don't let him, please.
All right, Stel. There's a lot of people in the comments saying no predictions from Stel. So
Exactly.
I think we're going to have to go with that. I think we'll go with that. Stel, we don't want to jinx anything tonight, so I think we'll leave it.
I think so. I think that's safe.
Do you know what it is, guys? Do you know what it is? I in the deep of my gut, in my heart, I knew we were going to beat Arsenal, man. I was so knowing we were going to do it. And I felt good about Burnley off the back of Arsenal. But you see with tonight, it's so difficult to predict, man. And like your heart will say, Arsenal will drop points. Your brain will say, it depends what players are actually available for both teams. There's so many variables tonight, like, are Arsenal going to be fit? What players have they got ready? How fit are the players of Newcastle that are returning? VAR decisions, sendings off, all these kinds of things. It's just, I think my honest opinion is I do not think tonight is a game anyone can predict. We just literally have to sit back and hope at full time they drop points. And if they do, guys, I'm going to be in the mud because we probably will get top 4. But if they don't, then we will look back and say, do you know what? That stupid draw at Brentford and that loss at Brighton in the end probably cost us. But like I said, it's about opportunities being presented and taking them. Arsenal have an opportunity tonight. Go and take it, Arsenal. Let's see what you've got. But if you don't take it tonight, don't blame us for getting a lucky win against Burnley because it's still in your hands. End of.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely
right.
A few comments here for you, Stelios from Cody Mack. He says,
yes.
Stelios, the barbecue is heating up, Stel. It's heating up. I'm getting my spatula and whisk. The kitchen lights are on. And that
there's a war brewing there.
Yeah, I think you were about to make your predictions and he was getting ready. He was getting ready for you, Stel.
What have I created?
You can just see.
Listen, guys, last word I want to say to you both, right? I think Rez is doing a great job. Well done, Rez.
Cheers, pal. I appreciate it.
Nah, good stuff, buddy. And look, one thing I've felt the last couple of games that I haven't felt all season, I actually feel that the new stadium is becoming the old White Hart Lane. There's that vibe, there's that party, there's that love, there's that unity. It's beginning to feel, and I don't want to say it because I don't want to ruin it, but it's beginning to feel how we felt under Poch. And I just pray to God that these owners of Tottenham don't make the mistakes you made with Poch and just do what you didn't do for Poch, do it for Conte, because the fans are back on board. Do not fuck this up. That's all I ask.
Absolutely spot on, Stel. Absolutely spot on. And you know, we had a chat after the game yesterday at that end of Cedar Park, and we were saying the same things. I mean, I said the same thing to you, didn't I? Saying that Thursday night felt like the rebirth of that stadium. It felt like the rebirth, and it does feel like everyone is slowly getting on side. So I echo your thoughts, and they'd have to back this man. They have to back him, because if they don't, there is nowhere else to turn. But Stel, thank you for coming on, brother, and we'll speak to you soon.
Cheers, Stels.
All right. Away the lads. That was the messages as Stel was going on. Let's try Brian Daigle again. Let's see if that is working. Can you hear us, Mr. Daigle?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Are you coming through? Are you coming through?
I can hear you. You can hear me.
You.
Yeah.
Daigle, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. I'm just counting the days now. It's good, man. I've got my countdown to London is on. I've got Brad Matthews going to be here in 1 week today. He comes and spends a week with me in Toronto. 3 days later, I fly.
Yes.
As simple as that.
Amazing.
So it's all good. Although I've got, for the first time ever, I haven't got a direct flight, so I'm stopping off in Nova Scotia for an hour and a half. That's going to be fun.
Nova Scotia, eh?
It's got to be done once in your life. You've got to go to Nova Scotia and stop and then leave.
Well, that's the thing, mate. You got to do things. The things I do. But yeah, it'll be an adventure. But we shall see. But yeah, back to Tottenham.
Nova Scotia. I don't even know.
It's in the northeast part of Canada, I believe, if I've got that correct.
Okay.
It's Halifax. Yeah.
Yeah.
So where did we leave the conversation off when you got cut off, Brian?
Well, the weirdest part is I could not hear you. Rez asked me a question. I did say no. And then Rez was like, well, how do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I said, can you hear us? And you said no.
We're talking about my shirt. My shirt is put away in the same place it's been for the last few games. Ilana went and bought me 2 massive spray on deodorant so I can blitz each armpit with a deodorant spray before I go to the Scotland Yard for the Norwich game. And that is not being washed and will be being worn on Sunday.
Excellent stuff. There's going to be a wide circle around you, though. Is that right?
No, I
people don't want to get too close.
I think there will be. I normally have a big table. I might be lonely on my table on the last day of the season. But
would have been good for social distancing, eh?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't need a mask. Just don't wash your shirt.
the things I do for this club.
Absolutely,
yeah. Talk to me about your feelings on the game tonight, Brian.
I think, still, first of all, still for Prime Minister after that speech about taking opportunities, bloody hell. That was phenomenal. But he won't predict. I will. 2-0 Newcastle. 2-0 Newcastle.
Nice.
I was saying, even when we took over the show when you were on your stag do, Ben, the two games that I earmarked and was so convinced about, one for us and one for them, was us drawing against Brentford and Newcastle beating them. St James's Park is going to be an absolute fortress tonight, absolute fortress, and that stadium, when it wants to be, is exactly like you were saying how our stadium is becoming. That place is a hotbed where they will go absolutely batshit crazy, and they're actually going to go into this game filled with excitement and adventure, and to think, what is this summer going to bring for us? Who's coming in? Oh my God, this is going to be amazing. Compared to summer after summer after summer of just dread, fear, and anger. So that place is going to be rocking. And I think Newcastle are just going to have too much for them, especially with holding out. Ben White apparently not being able to make it. Always forget the bloody Brazilian. Not like even monkeys what their players then got. Thank you. So hopefully, in the sense of Gabriel, for us, dreams can come true. Let's see if it happens today. But I'm going 2-0.
2-0. Wow. Do you think Champions League gets decided tonight?
Yeah, well, put it this way: I think they're going to lose pretty much. But we just have to make sure we roll into Norwich and do not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
And do not get ahead of ourselves. You know, the thing you can say is Norwich are going to come out and just play, aren't they? They're going to want to have a good send off for and thank their team, and they're going to come out and just give it a go. I can't see them in their last home game of the season, the Premier League, just putting 10 men behind the ball. And just I don't see them doing that. They're going to come out, and that is going to 1,000,000,000% suit our game. And we just need to get a couple of early goals, and then just enjoy the moment and just make sure we don't take our foot off the gas. I would say it fully confirms it tonight, Ben, but I would say if that result goes our way today with a defeat of any score, please God mine, that we're 75-80% of the way there.
And on the flip side, if Arsenal do go and get the result tonight, do you think it confirms it for them tonight?
Oh, you know what? It puts them 1 point ahead of us again.
Yeah.
So do you know what? With Everton having that result they did yesterday, but they're now going to have a couple of players out. Obviously, they're going to have.
They've got a game before that. They do have a game before that.
Oh, have they?
Yeah. Thursday.
Okay, so if their fate is sealed, then I'd say it's more than likely Arsenal. If it's not sealed and they're both going for something, let's hope they can cancel each other out, because that's where the goal difference. Even if it's they'll go 1 point ahead of us. If Everton can get a result, even if we get a draw, the goal difference will help us. So let's hope Everton have to take it to the last day. I think that way, if Arsenal win, that's the only way we've really got a realistic chance.
All right. Anything you want to ask? Rez?
No, nothing from me.
All right.
I thought it was talking to Brian. Do you want to ask us any? Are there any questions you'd like to ask us, Brian? At all?
Let me think. Yeah, no. What? Let's see. Wait, Ben, because I heard you talking about before.
Flip side. You're the interviewer now. We're on your show now.
Yeah, exactly. No, one thing I do want to talk about, I spoke about it on the fan show, and I spoke about it yesterday on Will's show, and I think I heard you speak about it, Ben.
Was that Daniel Levy being at Upton Park?
Oh, no. You know what? I'm doing that today, but I won't be saying those words because I made a deal with someone that if we win, I will hold a ceasefire unless Daniel does something fucking ridiculous this week, which, let's face it, there's every chance. Then I can come on all guns blazing. But at the moment, I'm going to try and support the lads and not mention him until after the season, unless something bad happens. But I heard you talking, Ben, about Ryan Sessegnon.
Yeah.
Who I said, I think I was on your show as well a few times, saying I prefer him 100 times in this position over Reguilon, and he really has started to show, hasn't he? All right, it's only a few games and it's keeping him fit, but he just seems to understand this role better than Reguilon, doesn't he? He's getting in the right positions. His defensive duties yesterday, that when he got in the way of that header, which certainly would have been a 1-0 or at least a decent attempt on goal, he's growing into this position, isn't he?
No, I completely agree. Go on, you can take it away.
No, I think that's absolutely right. We've needed effectiveness on that wing. We've all been saying it. It's obvious. I still don't think he's the finished article. There's still work to be done, and I would like to see someone being the sort of primary left wing back in an ideal world. But if that isn't a priority, I wouldn't be disappointed to see Sess as our first choice left wing back next season.
Yeah. No, I think you're right, Brian. I think he's growing game by game in this role. I really believe that.
Yeah, I mean, all I would say is, like you just said, Rez, we do need another one, and I would like to see Reguilon go. I think his bags are packed anyway, and then we might bring in a stronger left back ready for now, like a Conte. I'm ready for now, that he can first of all have competition for places and help him get stronger, but also for him to learn from, and then it should be Sessegnon. We've got to remember he's still so young. So if he has someone to seriously give him competition, because I don't think Reguilon's competition, because he's a left back, not a left wing back. If we can identify another left wing back and get the two of them in squad rotation, just like Poch did with Walker, Trippier, Rose and Davies, then I think we've got one hell of a player there.
Agreed.
I think so.
Brian, just before we let you go, we've also got a couple of comments for you. One from LA Ian saying, Brian, get your LA Spurs t-shirt from Stel because he gave one to you for yesterday. I got one as well. Really nice shirts, by the way.
I heard from Stel. I'm really looking forward to that. And he sent me a picture showing that he made it. It's so good to see. You know what? It's so good to see pictures like that on Twitter when people I've known or we know and have spoken to and live all over the world, when you get to actually see them sitting at that ground. Because people back home, and even myself when I lived at home, you take it for granted. You take what going down to Tottenham and everything is, and then when you see someone from LA, which is obviously another 8-hour flight as opposed to my 5-6 hour flight, it just goes to show the power of this club and how much it means to people. So it's amazing to see him there, and still let me know about that picture. And I was going to say I'll get you sent out a Toronto Spurs scarf in return, but I don't think you really need a scarf in Los Angeles. So when we
decoration purposes, my friend.
Maybe decoration purposes, or when we start. Well, I was about to say we might be doing hoodies, but that's really not going to work for you either. Well, we'll make we'll make a limited edition T-shirt for Ian.
Yeah, a hoodie in LA.
If one's going though, Brian.
Say again?
I'll take a hoodie if one's going.
Oh, but Ben, come on! Of course, mate. Of course. Look how many shirts you've got yours. Of course, you still got your Toronto. You got your Toronto Spurs scarf.
Yeah, I do. It's over here. Yeah.
But I will get you a hoodie as well, and Rez, and I think I'm going to be getting a lot of people hoodies. Guess what you're getting for Christmas and Hanukkah? Christmas and Hanukkah, people. Guess what you're getting?
Hoodie.
Come on. We got a few more comments. One from Cody Mack saying, Brian, you keep that chicken wing stain safe, buddy.
Definitely.
And there was another one. I can't find it anymore, but it says, Brian, please wear that T-shirt for tonight's game.
Yeah. I have to say, I said this with you yesterday, Rez. I am not risking the streak being broken with the filth.
That's a good point.
I've got. Listen, what I will say is thank you to my lovely brothers at We Are Tottenham TV. I have a blue one and I have a brown one. It's just which colour do I wear? I will wear that tonight with the greatest of pleasure, but that grey one is for Tottenham Hotspur purposes only.
Wear the brown one to commemorate the stainage in the Arsenal shorts.
Done, Red. Done. I will be posting it today, ready for Spurs, ready for Newcastle filth, and I will have a brown shirt on. Done.
Big up, Daigle. Thanks for coming on, mate, and we shall speak to you very soon.
We always will, and I look forward to it. And I can't say those words, but you all know what I'm trying to say, though. But I will end with back Conte.
Cheers, Brian.
Brian, always a pleasure, my friend. Always a pleasure. Let's go to our next guest, and that is it's KPV.
Hello.
How you doing, KPV?
I'm good. Back again, Wes. Back again.
Yes, yeah. I'm like a bad smell. Can't get rid of me.
I'm doing good.
How you feeling about the game yesterday? First and foremost, what did you make out of our performance?
First half we were shit. Second half brilliant. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I'm gonna say this: Burnley can cry all they want. Ashley Barnes can stop crying. It was a penalty. Arsenal fans say it was not. Do one. It was a penalty. Stop crying. Get over it. You got done over. So stop crying all you want. And Burnley boss can shut his mouth. It was a penalty, so you got done over. The same the Filth did. So yeah, just keep your mouth shut, both teams, or else. Kane is he's now scored 3 home goals. Leicester, he's now scored what? He's the Leicester killer, the North London Derby killer, and the Burnley killer. So there is 3 new names I've got for him. But if I'm being honest, I know I got some stick earlier, but he should have let Son take the pen because he wants that golden boot. Like, yeah, just let Son take it. But yeah, let Son take the penalty in the Norwich game. Then I think he's going to score 2. But this game, we were brilliant, I must say. Like 10 out of 10 for every single player that put on a good shift. Hope, I know he played brilliant man of match, but man of match was Sessegnon.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you on that one. I think Ryan Sessegnon's really growing in his role. I think that he's showing more than maybe Reggie has all season, to be honest. I think Reggie has been fairly poor ever since after his first 6 months at Spurs, to be honest. And would you lose any sleep if we sold Reguilon this summer?
No.
Neither would I. And when we bought him, I was so excited as well.
Yeah, that was it. It was like, finally, we've got, an effective left back. Because, I mean, Rose wasn't doing it. Davis was sort of seeming to drop off. And it was like, thank God we've got a decent left back. Because he just won. It was that season before where he just won the UEFA or the Europa League with Seville, wasn't it? When he was on loan with them. It was like, we've got a winner. And it's just not panned out.
But Carl, what's your opinions on the big game tonight? Talk me through.
Well, obviously, I want the Magpies to win because it's their last home game, and obviously, I want them to win because I am not wearing that Italian job T-shirt because I am not risking the streak getting broke. Whoever's telling me to wear it, do one. I'm not wearing it.
What's wrong with it?
I'm not wearing that shirt with the streak getting broke because I am.
With what getting broke? Sorry.
Huh?
With what getting broke? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
The streak, we are still undefeated.
Oh, the streak.
I see.
The streak, and
I see. You got your own little Brian Daigle lucky shirt thing going on. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, the new best duo in Tottenham history, eh?
Brian Daigle and KPV up front. That's what I love to hear.
Daigle and Vineyards, yeah.
What? Oh, not again, please. Turn that rubbish off. Not me again. But did you see on Twitter a shirt with Newcastle stripes on?
Yes. So I was about to ask you, actually, are you going to put duct tape on your shirt to make it look like the Newcastle shirt?
I don't think I've got that sort of colour, but I hope I can. It's got Trippier on the back, it has. I saw on Twitter. But he's going to score. I know he's going to score. Joe Linton. I say 3-0 Newcastle. Joe Linton 1 and Bruno 2. But it doesn't matter who scores. I just want Trippier to score at least. Then he wants to get a top 4 and he wants to keep Burnley up. So, yeah. Good luck to the Magpies tonight. And do us a favour, Trippier. We probably should have brought you back, but obviously it didn't work out for you in your final season. So good luck tonight, my friend. And just please beat the Filth because I don't think it confirms their top 4 tonight. It will go down because our goal difference is better. There's no way they're winning tonight after they got done over on Thursday. So I don't think they've got any defence, but who cares? This is tonight. I'll be watching, and I can't wait for Wednesday, obviously, because I'll be watching that Europa League final, Rangers. No offence, Drew McIntyre, but I'll be watching. I've got a couple to watch.
All right, big up, Carl.
Nice one, Carl.
Hope you have a good night tonight watching the Arsenal game, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, and before I go, I actually need to explain something, Ben, because I'm still not happy what Alex mentioned. He mentioned a player who I know Wes heard it, top 5 Spurs players. And I think you might have watched Bob's stream on the weekend.
I didn't actually get to see it, but I heard it was a very good stream.
Yeah, but Alex mentioned the player's name though. Who
are we talking about? Alex Davies?
Yeah.
Yeah, he mentioned the guy's name though.
Oh, you're talking about Judas?
Yes.
Alex is the one who mentioned it, not me. I watched the stream, and he said his top 5 players was that Dummer. But mine, before I go, I know we've got people waiting. I'll mention my top 5. Paul Robinson, Michael Dawson, Ledley King, Gareth Bale, and Berbatov, the 2008 Carabao Cup players. I know that's my top 5. So that's what I'm going to say. All right.
Big up, Carl. Thanks for coming on, mate.
Conte. Back Conte.
Absolutely.
Cheers.
Thanks for coming on, Carl. And we move on to our next guest. And he's definitely going to have something inside so strong to tell us what's going on tonight. Let's bring him on. Come on.
Here he is.
What are we calling you today, mate? What are we calling you today? Nothing.
Frozen.
Apparently. Nothing, apparently.
Yes, we're calling him Frozen.
Oh,
I know it's a movement.
A little bit. He's
it's a
moving
movement.
Little bit.
But you're on mute, I think.
We can't hear you,
Can't
mate.
hear you, man. Still not coming through. Have you unclicked the mute at the top?
Is it on our end or is it on his end? It's on your end, mate.
What about now?
There we go.
Now we can hear you.
Gotcha.
I took the mic out. I don't know what was going on.
How you doing, mate? Great job on the watch along yesterday, by the way, in the fan show. Loved watching it. You guys got some sort of chemistry going on there that maybe Danny Kiriakou should be a bit jealous of.
Well, we don't talk about it in public, Ben.
Well, we are 100% wins together. So
yes,
what
indeed.
Can we say?
Yes, indeed.
What was your opinions on the game yesterday?
We just did. Look, we said yesterday. We just did what we needed to do. The most important thing was a win. It wasn't pretty. The boys were tired. So yeah, look, it wasn't great, but we didn't think it was going to be. I mean, I said it was going to be 4-0, but yeah, okay. We'll ignore that one. Get
that
one
was another Brighton
right.
prediction.
Yeah, get one prediction right, one prediction wrong. So maybe the prediction I'm going to give for tonight will be right. So
yes.
Yes, look, it's 3 points. We've put the pressure back on them, and that's all that matters.
Yeah,
definitely, I agree.
Completely agree. I mean, are you proud of how we won that game yesterday? Because I mean, in my opinion, I felt like maybe after half an hour, you really saw how leggy the players were, putting a big shift 48 hours before against Arsenal. The fans as well, putting in a big shift. Are you proud of the way of, how tired we saw the players were still getting that job done?
Yeah, look, I think, if we go back 3 months, 4 months, we wouldn't have been able to break them down. It could have been another Brighton performance. They did have chances, and no, the players they put everything on the line yesterday, and to come in, especially not only after what happened on Thursday night, but with Kulusevski, Lloris, and whoever the other two were that had that neurovirus. That they're just. I mean, we're running on empty, right? We've got one more game now, so we just need to get through to next week. So we've got that breathing space now, which is we've got the extra few hours. So I don't know if the Arsenal fans are going to worry about that now. Oh, Tottenham played at 12 o'clock on Sunday, but we played at 8 o'clock on Monday. So I'm sure they'll have something to say about that, because they were very salty again last night. Oh, the penalty, oh this, oh that. So it's great because Arteta's done it for us. He's got in all their heads. He's got in the players' heads that everyone's against them. So long may it continue, because they're starting to believe it. So we're living rent free in their head, which is amazing. So
yeah, absolutely.
I think so. I mean, let's have your prediction, Barry. I mean, what do you think? No, let's talk about psychology first. Let's talk about psychology. A lot of us have been talking about this. Has Arsenal's psychology been dealt a blow by Tottenham, and is that basically them going to crumble now?
Yeah, absolutely. They thought they were coming there on Thursday, and they were getting something. They walked out. They saw the tifo. They saw how loud we were, and they just bottled it. They almost did what we'd expect from Spurs. Spurs would do. We'd come out. We'd have the opportunity, and we wouldn't take it. They've now gone away. They've listened to Arteta afterwards, crying about decisions, crying about this, crying about that, and mentally now their group of young players aren't going to handle it. They're going to go into the same, not as raucous as it was on Thursday with us waiting outside with flares and everything else, like it was on Thursday, but it's going to be loud. Newcastle, it's the last game of the season. They're going into the summer looking forward to what's going to happen with excitement. They're not going to want to sign off with a tepid performance. So it's going to be loud, and they're going to be walking in. They know they need to react, but we don't know who's going to be playing. We don't know who's going to be playing across the fence. We don't know what's going to happen with Saka. We don't know what's happening. Apparently, Odegaard's got an niggle. So they could be going in there, thinking, Christ, I don't know what we're going to do. And then is, anything but a win for them tonight, and they know it's back in our hands. And that's what we just need to wait and see about. I firmly believe there's still, like we were saying, twists and turns, and the twist and the turn tonight is that Arsenal don't get a win, and we go into Sunday ahead, and that's what's going to happen. So that's what I believe. The psychology of those players, they've been, they've had no European football. They've spent 150 million, and potentially going to miss out on top four, and then they're going to say they've had a good season. So it's ridiculous. So it's brilliant. It's brilliant. We're in the ascendancy now, and we just need to wait for kind of what's going to happen this evening.
Yeah, I think so. What do you say to the idea? And it's one that I agree with. It's what you think, Ben, that if Conte had been in charge from the beginning of this season, how much higher do you think we would have been by this point?
Well, look, we can still get third, right? Depending on what Chelsea do in the next two games. So
technically, yeah.
I'm not going to say that we would not. I'm not going to say we'd be challenging, right? Because I think that we all know that we need the squad to do that, and we don't have the. We'd be in a perfect game where we would have rested 5 to 6 players and made 5 to 6 changes. We don't have that luxury. So look, I think we top four we've definitely been in the top 4, top 3. Would we have potentially won a trophy? Maybe. We never know. But it's exciting, and look, we know what needs to happen. We need to back Conte. We need to back this manager. And I think, like Ben said correctly, the stadium feels like it's been reborn. The fans are on side, and we just need to take that opportunity now and not throw it away this time like we did under Poch.
Absolutely. And just before we let you go, Barry, what is your score prediction tonight?
I'm going to say 2-0 Newcastle.
Absolutely.
Lovely.
Kieran Trippier going to get on the score sheet tonight?
Well, you'd like to think so. I don't know. Look, I don't care. I don't care if it comes off Trippier's elbow, bum, back of his head. I don't care. Just we want Arsenal to be in the mud, because then they're going to. You just wait to see what nonsense is going to come out from them. And I think today is what I'm nervous about is that I can't see Everton doing anything on Sunday. So it has to be tonight that the final twist and turn happens, and then even then I think there's going to be an Aguero moment that happens on Sunday. Sonny to win the Golden Boot, to win the game. I don't want it to be like that, because everyone's nerves will be shot. But I've just got a feeling that something like that is going to happen to finish this season off. So, but let's go ahead into that last game. 2 points ahead, needing a draw. Everyone will be talking about, Spurs going in there, needing a point, go 1-0 down, and then Sonny with a couple wins the Golden Boot. We get top 4. Everyone goes mental. So, yeah, let's just see.
Sounds good.
Love it. Absolutely love it. And I can't wait. Thank you, Barry, for coming on, mate.
Cheers, Bal.
No worries, boys.
Come on, you Spurs. And I believe the last caller of the day got his flat cap ready. I think you guys know who it is, and it's not Rez.
No.
Because he is in his flat cap over
I'm
here.
already here. It's hard.
But let's bring him on. The Irish Hotspur, everyone. How you doing, Dave?
What's up, Dave?
I'm absolutely buzzing. I mean, life couldn't be better, boys.
Life could not be better. I mean, haven't spoken to you since the game yesterday. So how did you assess that game? I mean, there's a lot of salty gooners doing the round saying we were lucky, we didn't deserve the win. Even Sky Sports going as far to say that we didn't deserve the win yesterday.
Please.
What's your assessment of the game?
I mean, first of all, these are the same gooners that wanted to put Saka and Ramsbottom into a Tottenham predicted 11. And I mean, Saka was pocketed by Sessegnon, so I don't know what they're talking about. I wouldn't believe anything they say. At the end of the day, they reside in South London now because we absolutely spanked them. But look, yesterday's game, I done my preview Saturday night, and I was saying going into the game, this one isn't going to be easy. They're going to be tired, and it's just going to have to be about just getting over the line and getting the job done. And that's what we done at the end of the day. Yes, I mean, that's all anybody could ask for. Look, these last two games, I don't really give a toss how we play. We're down to the bare bones. It's just about getting the points on the board and getting over the line.
Yeah, I agree.
I thought Sessegnon was brilliant yesterday. I know a lot of people may slate me for this. I thought Emerson was all right yesterday as well, to be fair.
No one will slate you on that, Dave. No one will slate you on that. He had a good performance.
Yeah,
he did.
I thought he had a decent performance. And look, he's picked up over the last couple of games, which is all we could ask for from the guy as well. I was gutted for Sonny yesterday. I mean, Pope's 2 reaction saves, they were absolutely unbelievable. Yeah. If he has them again today, if we were playing today and he has them 2 chances, they're in the back of the net. I really felt bad for him. I really wanted him to get the golden boot. But what
There's still a game left, Dave. There's still one game left.
I know there's still a game left, and look, I think he probably will clinch it against Norwich, in my opinion. But I was a bit good for him yesterday. It would have been nice for him at the stadium, to have that,
agreed.
Coming off the pitch and that yesterday. But all in all, look, not a great performance. There's still a lot of lessons to be learned. I mean, but what I will say to Spurs fans out there is it's one that can easily be rectified. Look, against low block teams or teams that don't really want to come out and attack us, we do have a lot of issues there, and that's down to just quality sometimes, moving the ball a lot quicker, making sure your first touch is out of your feet and then passing it on rather than having to take 3, 4, 5 touches, getting the ball. Like these games are screaming out for someone to get on the ball, beat 1 or 2 players and create space for yourself, create stuff for yourself, create your own openings. We're just too content on passing it around a lot of the times. And for me, I think it's a lot easier to rectify that problem than what it is to try and get results off the big boys. And one thing Conte has done is he knows how to get results off the big boys. And we will rectify the problem of low block teams this summer in terms of the transfer window. Because that and set pieces, look, with the likes of set pieces as well, I mean, we did struggle from them yesterday again. It looked like if they were going to score, it was going to be from one of them. And the only way of rectifying that problem is not in the training pitch. It's by buying just a bit more quality or someone with a bit more height in the January transfer window. But them 2 problems, if we rectify them, next season is going to be a very, very promising season for Spurs. And look, I just encourage all Spurs fans out there as well. Even if we don't make Champions League, which I think we will, but even if we don't, at least, respect the boys for the effort they put in to be able to give us a fighting chance come the end of the season.
Yeah,
absolutely spot on. A player that I want to talk to you about is actually Davinson Sanchez, because he hasn't played hardly any football in the past 3 months. Got drafted in late in that North London derby, albeit he did look quite nervy in the first 5-10 minutes, but grew into the game. Had another good game yesterday, in my opinion, and you got to give the guy props, don't you?
Look, credit to the guy for stepping in. I mean, it's not easy to be, out of the team whatsoever and then be called upon for a North London derby, and step in the way he did. Now, look, granted, they were down to 10 men, and a lot of his stats coming off the pitch were due to being down to 10 men, because when they had 11 and they were pressing them on the ball, his passing wasn't exactly the best, but it picked up the more time he had in the game. Look, yesterday again, I thought had some nervy moments, played well, but I would still be looking to ship him on and bring in somebody else. And look, credit to the guy, but for me, he just makes me too nervous. And if he's making me nervous, you can guarantee he's making the players around him nervous, the fans in the stadium nervous. And that's just the sort of stuff we don't need. Look, fair play, good performance, but we need players that their first touch is spot on, their first pass is spot on, not someone that every so often, it goes away. Because what happens then is you're just gifting the other team back possession, and you're gifting them an opportunity to come at us, which we don't need to do. So for me, I would still look to upgrade. But fair play to Davinson Sanchez, because it is not an easy thing to do. There is such thing as like match fitness and being up to speed by playing matches every week, and to step in and put in the performance he has without really making a mistake that's led to a goal. Fair play. Although he did get done by corner rolls yesterday when he ran in behind him. But at the end of the day, we got away with that.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, yeah, I agree with you, David. You've got to give the player credit for having been out for 2.5 months. I mean, no matches for 2.5 months, and he steps in against, I mean, what is the biggest game in our home season calendar. He gave a good account of himself. Fine, he was only facing, he was facing an Arsenal side down to 10 men, so that probably gave him more time. But at the same time, you can still have, a 10-man opposition and still play badly. It's not a guarantee that you're going to play well just because there's 10 men on the pitch. And I think he gave a good account of himself. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, spot on. And sorry, Ben, just quickly, I do want to make another quick point on the whole back line, if I may.
Go on.
Perfect, thank you. Is the likes of Dier like that? What we have to remember is, as much as good seasons they've had, our problems stem from the midfield backwards, and that's the areas we really do need to improve on in this summer transfer window. Because, and look, I don't mean to be drawing the guys out. Like I said, I'm behind everybody until the end of the season, bar Harry Winks. But when it comes to Dier, like that mistake he made against Brentford, Brighton, where he turns his back on the ball, if he doesn't make that mistake, we're still top 4 is in our hands going into the last game of the season. You can pick out the same from Davinson Sanchez when he's come in, although Davies has really, come to the fore the last few months. Even over the course of the season, you could probably pick out a couple from him, and that can't continue next season, because that's the difference between us being sitting in third right now and us, trying to get 4th and relying on Arsenal.
Yeah.
All right. And finally, Dave, let's have your opinions for the game tonight. How do you see it playing out? Can Arsenal handle the pressure?
I'm doing a watch along for it. Are you doing one?
We haven't decided yet.
I'm going to brave it up, and I'm going to do a watch along anyway for it. And look, for me, I just have a sneaky suspicion. Look, I personally think the job was done when Conte planted the seed with Arteta, after the North London derby. I think he's already in his head. I think he's going to force him into decisions and maybe a style of play or a way of playing against Newcastle that Arteta might not have done without Conte, calling on his inexperience and stuff like that, because the guy's going to have an ego. He's going to want to, come out and prove them wrong. And I think Conte has already rattled them. But look, Kieran Trippier, I mean, I can see Kieran Whippier stepping up and putting one in top corner from the bench. St. Maximin, I don't know if he's available. I haven't done any team news into it, to be honest with you. But look, I have a good feeling about Newcastle tonight. It's their last home game of the season. Some of them players will still be playing to be here beyond the summer. And they will want to put it in for the fans who've had a torrid time under Mike Ashley, and they're going to want a bit of a carnival atmosphere there today. And I just have faith. I don't think Arsenal will get it. Ben, you know me. I think they're young, I think they're naive, and they're inexperienced, and I think they will crumble at the final harder.
Score prediction tonight?
I'm going to go Newcastle 2-1. Come on, the Geordies. We're all Newcastle fans.
Lovely.
Absolutely. David, absolute pleasure to speak to you as always, mate, and we'll see you soon.
No, we'll see you again for the last pre-match pump-up this week this Sunday against Norwich. Hope everybody is there. Get on and have your say, and let's, just ride this happiness wave all the way till the Norwich game, and let's see what it does for us. But as always, everybody out there, keep the smiles on your face. Come on, you Spurs. Ben and Rez, great job today. Adios.
Thank you, mate. Thanks, mate. Take care.
Dave. So I think that brings a close to a mammoth stream, 2.5 hours, guys. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Player ratings and the 5 takeaways will be with you later on today. And obviously, we'll let you know in the community section if we are going to do a watch-along for the Arsenal game. Thank you, Rez, for joining me today.
Absolute pleasure.
It's been a pleasure sharing the screen with you once again.
Likewise.
And we'll see you all very soon. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
Spurs.